I remember meeting an actress once. मैं नाम नहीं लूँगा. The first time I met her, I was like, there's something wrong about her. Like I don't know what it is, a gut feeling. I looked into her eyes and she was also looking at me and I was like, मेरे को ऐसा घोर अंधकार दिखा. मैं विनीत का रिब्स टूट गया था मुक्काबाज के टाइम पे.
What are you saying?
He trained a lot, but he's still not a boxer, right? Like the rest of them. So sometimes your boxing IQ and your instincts will kick in. When you see an opening, you will take the shot. They're too quick to रिंग द डूम्सडे बेल. 4 फिल्में साउथ इंडस्ट्री से चल गई, उनको लग गया कि हिंदी का झाड़ू लग गया, क्या कुछ नहीं है. OTT आ गया तो सिनेमा बंद हो गया है. सो इमीडिएटली दे स्टार्ट रिंगिंग द डूम्सडे. अब तो सब खत्म हो गया, अब क्या करोगे. नॉट दैट वी डोंट नो व्हाई. सबकॉन्शियसली वी थिंक दे आर बेटर बट वी कांट रियली टेल व्हाई.
ये पर्टिकुलरली लाइक आई हैव सीन व्हेन पीपल टॉक अबाउट इरफान, राइट? इरफान के बारे में जब भी लोग बात करते हैं कि वो नुआंसेस वाला कि एंड आईज. यो गुलशन, कैसे हैं?
मैं ठीक हूँ, आप कैसे हैं?
बस बढ़िया.
बड़े दिनों बाद. मैंने वो चलचित्र टॉक्स का टी-शर्ट ढूंढा यार. है आपने दिया था एक मुझे. हाँ मिला नहीं.
यार आपकी अभी वाली टी-शर्ट बहुत सही है.
आई नो. सब्र. या आई थिंक दिस इज प्रीटी मच माय लाइफ. सब्र. आई हैड टू वेट पेशेंटली फॉर मेनी थिंग्स टू हैपन.
आपको पता है वन ऑफ द मेन रीजंस व्हाई आई वांटेड टू डू इज कि जब भी मैं आपसे ऑफलाइन मिलता हूँ ना, तो मैं आपके जिस लेवल पे हम बात करते हैं ना, मेरे को ऐसा होता है कि यार फिर जूम पे एक तो आप इंटरनेट ठीक करवाओ अपने घर का. क्या चल रहा है? कौन सा प्लान ले रखा है आपने?
नहीं वो आपके लिए खराब होता है, पता नहीं क्यों. बाकी सबके लिए चलता है. आपके साथ जब भी मैं बैठता हूँ तो कुछ ना कुछ ऐसे.
तो मेरे को था मैं ऑफलाइन पकड़ूंगा गुलशन को, क्योंकि जिस लेवल पे हम ऑफलाइन कनेक्ट करते हैं ना, मेरे को था एक बार वो कैमरा पे आ जाए, फील आ जाए.
कोशिश करेंगे आज
करेंगे. क्योंकि डू यू रिमेम्बर लाइक हमने पॉलिटिक्स से लेके, नेपोटिज्म से लेके, एक्टिंग से लेके, स्विमिंग से लेके क्या नहीं डिस्कस किया.
But that's generally two of us like chatting and like
yeah,
it was also the first time we met outside of
ये right,
Zoom.
Right.
मिले नहीं थे, वो पहली बार मिल रहे थे ना. आप जयपुर आए थे अपने भाई के यहाँ कहीं तो आए थे आप. तो were you staying there at that point?
Yeah, मेरा घर भी है ना जयपुर में. So I like.
हाँ, you were staying there. You were staying there and you said you will drive down and फिर गाड़ी वापस भेजनी पड़ी आपको.
फिर आपके साथ डिनर भी किया था. मैं देख रहा था ये.
तो कंफ्यूजन हो गया था. गाड़ी चली गई थी, आपको जाना था लेकिन गाड़ी नहीं थी, तो फिर हमने डिनर किया वहाँ पे.
आप वो भी करते हो ना,
पैलेस.
आप एक ही मील खाते हो दिन का. इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग यही
नहीं, बट इट्स नॉट रियली टेक्निकली IF फॉर मी, बिकॉज मैं अपनी चाय कॉफ़ी जो 1 या 2 कप दिन में पीता हूँ, आई टेक इट विद मिल्क एंड शुगर, सो कैलोरीज आर गोइंग इन, सो इट्स टेक्निकली नॉट IF, बट माई मेन मील इज जस्ट 1 meal a day.
हाँ. और ये मिल्क यू टेक नॉर्मल मिल्क मतलब?
I switched to milk powder. Yeah, carton milks I don't know. I don't trust them anymore.
Why?
I think there's no problem with homogenized milk, but I think they put a lot of preservatives in it जो खराब ही नहीं होती यार. पहले तो मुझे पता है कि बचपन में आप पैकेट वाली या बोतल में आती थी ना, शीशियों में आती थी दूध, तो आता था, तो वो आप फ्रिज में भी रखो तो 2-3 दिन के ऊपर वो टिकता नहीं था, वो खराब हो जाता था.
ओह, सो यू आर सेइंग कि चलता रहता है इसलिए गड़बड़ है कुछ.
हाँ, and I feel that I don't know if there's it. I mean, I have not done any scientific research on this, but I know my gut. So whenever I have like Tetra Pak milk or any other milk also, आजकल तो डेयरीज में भी वो मिलाने लगे हैं कुछ चीज़ें. I've heard people saying that people who work in my house like कि वो कुछ केमिकल है वो डाल देते हैं कि दूध खराब नहीं होता. तो I think that हाँ, and then bloating and you know lots of things happen. So and I think maybe they're adding some hormones also. So then I get like you know some eruptions and stuff like that. So
ये मेरे साथ बहुत होता था.
So milk powder in my experience for myself I think is safe for me. So I've switched to milk powder. बिल्कुल पता नहीं चलता. आजकल बहुत हाई क्वालिटी के मिल्क पाउडर्स बनते हैं. हाँ, वो I even make यखनी सॉस एंड ऑल दैट वो मिल्क पाउडर से, वो बिल्कुल पता नहीं चलता. खाना बनाता हूँ मैं.
ये मेरे साथ होता था. तो मैं एक अभी अमूल का एक लैक्टोज फ्री मिल्क आने लगा है, मैं उस पर स्विच कर गया. तो मेरा ये एग्जैक्ट वर्ड आपने बोला, ब्लोटिंग. नो,
ये लैक्टोज का इशू नहीं है, मुझे लगता है कि हो सकता है, बट आई ऑल्सो फील दैट कि हमारे कल्चर में हम दूध बहुत बचपन से पीते हैं ना. गाय का दूध पी रहे हैं हम, गाय का या भैंस का या बकरे का नहीं बे बकरी का. तो I think we are like not so lactose intolerant. It could be all the processes that they do on the milk apart from just basic homogenization. जो पहले homogenized milk होता था, pasteurized milk होता था. I think as in so
और मेरे को लगता है मैं लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंट नहीं हूँ. It's just उसमें मेरे को लगता है कम चीजें क्यों हैं.
our biology is not able to keep up with technology.
हाँ. I once did like a podcast with these people जो ऐसे हेल्दी फूड की बात करते हैं. उन्होंने बोला था कि मिल्क वाज नेवर मेंट फॉर ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन. वो तो हमने चालू कर दिया.
I don't know if maybe so, but then for thousands of years humans have been consuming milk. So I don't think then across every culture, if you go to cold countries, they have cheeses and they're really dependent on milk and milk products. Nothing really happens, no? So I think by now, I'm just guessing, matlab 10,000 years to matlab.
And if you go to these like very famous films ना, सब में एक milk related बहुत important scene है. Inglorious Bastards का पहला scene याद है? वो जो पूरा
oh man, that's a hell of a scene.
That scene. There will be blood में भी एक milk का पूरा है कि I drink your milk.
Yeah, I drink your milkshake, and then he orders a milk for his son also for HW. In where he's sitting in the restaurant and the Standard Oil people are sitting. That's a terrific scene, and there are some outtakes also which are available on YouTube for that one, which is quite interesting. Interesting to see how Daniel Day-Lewis approaches scenes. I think he's by far the best actor in the world.
Which is your favorite Daniel Day-Lewis film?
It's very difficult to pick one, but I would say There Will Be Blood overall is a great film. I think one of the greatest male performances, greatest performances by any actor, regardless of what sex they are. But I also like The Ballad of Jack and Rose. His wife made that movie.
I haven't seen
it's not a big movie or a successful film like There Will Be Blood, but he's just really. I think he gives so much time to his work, and which is why he does so little. Because he gives so much of his life to that thing, and I know there are lots of mythologies about DDL and his processes and all those things like that, and he doesn't really. I think he lets it be. He never really kind of challenges those thinking. Nahi, aisa nahi tha. And some people have like he saw his father's ghost. He saw his father's ghost when he was doing Hamlet on stage, and he quit Hamlet. Being on theater and all that. He has never refuted those claims or anything like that. But I think he's quite smart that way. Like he lets people build these legends about him. And but he is. I don't think. I think there are very few actors who dedicate so much of their time and life to a role. Which is why he's able to get so much. And if you see him in Lincoln, and if you see him in There Will Be Blood, and if you see him in any of his films, Phantom Thread, there's such a transformation. It's nearly 100%. Nearly. I mean, it's impossible, but it's nearly 100% transformation.
Are you a Succession fan?
I haven't watched a single episode.
You haven't. So उसमें जो Jeremy Strong है, so he gets a lot of shit for his process. तो बाकी एक्टर्स उसका मजाक उड़ाते हैं कि ये तो वो प्रोसेस फॉलो करता है कि ही
Jeremy Strong.
हाँ, Jeremy, like वो full method actor है. Full method. And
I didn't know that.
Jeremy Strong, आपका भी जो पूरा look भी Kendall Roy look मतलब, because he is like this person like who takes it very seriously और very playful भी है, और like जो Kendall Roy का जो character है, so जो उसके जो lead जो उसके जो father का role play करते हैं Logan Roy, वो इंटरव्यूज में जाके उसका मजाक उड़ाते हैं. ही टेक्स एक्टिंग टू सीरियसली. फिर लेकिन जेरेमी स्ट्रॉन्ग एमी भी जीत जाता है, फिर वो और मजाक उड़ाते हैं.
Well, I haven't heard Jeremy Strong to be this sort of an actor, so this is very surprising.
So
he's been on for quite some time.
Yeah, and now he's finally getting his due. Like मतलब आज तक उसको ऐसा कभी नहीं मिला होगा the way he's getting.
Sometimes it's just that opportunity, a lot of us are just waiting for that one big nice opportunity where everything magically falls in place, like everything you are doing falls in place. So maybe that's what's happening with him.
Right.
I remember my friend Radhika Apte. She'd been working for like almost 10 years before, and then in 2015 everybody suddenly started like Radhika Apte, looking at her. I mean, she was always a good actor. But I have absolutely no idea why in 2015, I mean, yes, Badlapur was a great movie and Hunterrr was a good movie too. So I think that really added. But then the kind of interest that people suddenly started showing in her was inexplicable. I don't know why. She was always a good actor. But then her career changed after that year.
It's very interesting how people, like I say,
perception changed. The way people used to perceive her, na, it just changed. People were interested in her, like they were genuinely interested in her.
मेरे को याद है एक वरुण ग्रोवर का इरफान जो गुफ्तगू वाले जो होस्ट है उनके साथ एक इंटरव्यू था, उन्होंने बोला था कि वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग एंड मिस्टिकल थिंग्स अबाउट द इंडस्ट्री इज वो एक दिन डिसाइड कर लेते हैं दैट दिस आई डोंट वांट टू वर्क विद यू एनी मोर. और ये वो मतलब अपनी केस स्टडीज बता रहे थे कि वेयर ही हैज़ नोटिस्ड कि वन डे पीपल जस्ट डिसाइड they just don't want to work with you anymore. तो वो जो और वो कहते हैं एक पीरियड आता है 10 से, जब मैं उनसे पहली बार मिला था he said this कि मेरे पास अब 10 साल है, 10 साल लोग मेरी बात सुनेंगे and then something happens. अब वो perception negatively भी होता है ना कि now I'm not interested in your life anymore. बड़ा
it could be like it's a lot more difficult for actresses.
हाँ,
so
definitely.
उनका perception shelf life is much shorter. And it's very few of them are able to sort of have long careers. अभी खैर काफी चीजें बदल चुकी हैं, चेंज हो रहा है.
नहीं but like overall होता है.
But it's still a lot tougher. And I think वो relevancy, it's also something to do with being relevant. And then see every year there are like मैं हर साल देखता हूँ ना, जब 2011 में मेरी फिल्में आई थी तो I was a newcomer, so there was a lot of excitement around me. And every year I'm seeing there is somebody new, and there is excitement around them, and then you forget who came before, and then you're excited about somebody new and all that. This is how it is. You have to accept it, and you have to find your way around in this. And you have to be patient. If you want, I mean, it depends on what you want. If you want, like, if you have any higher pursuits or something like that in life, you definitely have to have the patience, and it's a little bit of luck also, but you can't entirely say it's luck because you have to be ready when the opportunity presents itself, na? Or relevancy is the greatest fear of actors, I feel. Yeah. Also storytellers. If you see like many directors, after a point you're not interested in their films. Like Ramu sir, we all like really still crying about how Ramu sir is great. He came and changed so many things in the industry. People who he gave so much talent also from there. People who used to work with him. There are a lot of them who were very successful and went on to sort of do great things in life.
One of the things I really like about you, और मैं कभी ऐसे Zoom पे व्यक्त नहीं कर पाया जो भी हमने conversation किया. I think you have this mindset कि you see कि क्या चल रहा है and like you accept the rules of the game. This is it. ये तो ऐसा है. तो उसके accordingly तुम अपना तैयार.
There are lots of things that you can't control.
Exactly.
Like I can't control the weather of this city or the traffic or something. It's beyond me. So then, if I have to exist in this city and function and be creative, and do my work and enjoy it, then I have to make peace with what this city is. But having said that, it's a lot better than many other cities in many ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And a lot worse than many cities
in many ways.
So you have to find. I know a lot of काफी सारे लोग हैं जो they can't stand it. They're only here because their careers जुड़े हुए हैं मुंबई से. And they're always trying to get away. तो कई सारे लोग गोवा में प्रॉपर्टी ले लेते हैं, वो करते हैं. They just can't stand. They just want to work here, but they can't. But I feel that my perspective is a little different. If I feel uncomfortable here, then I have no place.
और ये कैसे आया ये mentality? Like हमेशा से रही है, or did you have to practice?
I think a lot of it is acquired. सीखता गया. There are so many things when I came here I didn't know. काम करना आता था. एक्टिंग के बारे में मैं थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंट था कि हाँ काफ़ी तजुर्बा मैंने लिया है थिएटर करते करते, किताबें पढ़ के, दूसरों को देख के, ऑब्जर्व करके. But then so many other things I didn't know, so I started learning. By observing other people, and then philosophy also really is like wonderful. A lot of these things is stoicism. जो आपको ईस्टर्न मतलब इंडियन फिलोसफी में भी मिल जाएंगे इसके, और वेस्टर्न फिलोसफी में मिल जाएगा. The idea of like that there's only that much you can control, that if you accept it, and what you can control your thoughts, your actions, but you can't control so many of the weather.
But you must still have those moments na where you lose it.
Yeah, of course.
मतलब वो कौन सी चीज़ है? What are your pet peeves which make you lose it?
Well, there are tough days when there are like really like you feel like nothing is going your way, and then once you lose I have a tendency sometimes, आजकल कम हो गया है कि once I get angry, then I just like it's just like the floodgates open, like really like.
क्या करते हो?
I become really like angry. I sometimes say very rude things. I can hurt people because I feel hurt. And usually ऐसे होता है कि when I feel that somebody's hurt me, in some way, then my ego kicks in, and then like it's just like I want to hurt them 10 times back. I say physically नहीं.
नहीं वो है ना quote, hurt people.
वैसे. And I was, when I started working with a counselor, तो मैरिज काउंसलर के पास जाता था मैं पहले, तो उन्होंने कहा कि हाँ तुम में से उल्टा सीधा इसलिए बोलते हो बिकॉज यू फील हर्ट. सो दैट्स एक्चुअली that revelation I never had, and it really made me like, you know, and I don't like, and I said I don't want to hurt people, but I feel hurt. So once I realized कि हाँ मुझे चोट पहुंच रही है इसलिए मैं, तो sometimes वो चोट पहुंचने वाली चीज़ भी नहीं होती है, हमको लग जाती है चोट, and many times it could be purely because of ego. So once you understand that, then you know how you can sort of suppress it or control it or just leave the room or find ways to sort of suppress this, quell this situation.
Very nice. तो ये like do you ऐसे believe कि हर इंसान की एक energy होती है which that person is radiating, and if let's say you enter somewhere and you're like bro vibes सही नहीं है, vibe energy whatever कि
yeah it's possible. Yeah, I met a lot of people. I remember meeting an actress once, मैं नाम नहीं लूँगा. The first time I met her, I was like, there's something wrong about her. Like I don't know what it is, the gut feeling.
Exactly. What's good.
Like you know, I looked into her eyes and she was also looking at me, and I was like, ऐसे कोई romantically नहीं, ऐसे मिल रहे थे.
Fair enough. हाँ.
मेरे को ऐसा घोर अंधकार दिखा. It could be purely my imagination or the light or something like that, but something inside me said that just stay away. Like don't just. You know, it's almost like it's like an alarm that goes up. A safety mechanism है कि बचो, निकलो यहाँ से, just रफू चक्कर हो जाओ. Yeah, so a lot of people don't like her.
Yeah, नहीं हाँ तो हम उस टाइप वाले पॉडकास्ट नहीं है कि जो यहाँ से कि क्या नाम है. मैं आपसे लेकिन इस टॉपिक पर बात करना चाहता हूँ. लेटली मेरे को ये बहुत फील होने लग गया है कि द वाइब थिंग ना, ये जो गट बोल रहा है ना, ये आपने दूध के लिए बोला ना, ये लोगों दूध और लोग.
हाँ, apparently there are neurological signals that the gut can send. So
हाँ, तो gut doesn't lie. Beat milk.
Gut feeling is also it has some neurons. I don't know the exact science behind it. Can I say it has some neurons? I don't know. You know what I mean, right? So.
Yeah. And abhi currently what are you watching?
YouTube. मैं तो always been watching YouTube.
So जिन लोगों को नहीं पता है, like Gulshan learned swimming through YouTube.
Through YouTube, yeah.
क्या मेरे को भी बताओ ये कौन सी लेक्चर सीरीज है YouTube पे जहाँ पे हम स्विमिंग सीख सकते हैं?
Lots of stuff, but primarily मेरे जो core videos आए थे, it came from speedo.com. Speedo का एक YouTube channel है.
अच्छा.
Yeah, so they have like all these lessons. So I would learn one thing a day. Just like I started with just like getting into the water and pushing off the side. And just getting the streamline position.
How exactly? What are they saying in these videos?
They'll give you the steps. They'll break it down as to how to sort of be able to swim. The front crawl or the freestyle. So every different stroke will have a different thing. So there are some other videos also. The algorithm throws other videos also. Once you click on something swimming related, then the algorithm will show you lots of things. So I did move on to some advanced stuff and all that. But अगर किसी को सीखना है तो basic stuff तो आपको मिल जाएगा speedo के. तो that's what I encountered.
हाँ. तो नहीं मतलब क्योंकि मेरे को शायद वैसे भी थोड़ा पानी से डर लगता है, तो वो जब मोमेंट आता है when you realize कि आपके पैर जमीन टच नहीं कर रहे और आप डूबने वाले हो, तो तब YouTube.
No, but you start from जहाँ पैर जमीन को टच करता है ना, you start from there ना, you start from the shallow side and then you go to the
deeper side.
But I don't know how to tread water. That's something that even despite the YouTube channels, I have not been able to master that.
Tread water मतलब?
Like when you go to the deep side, like your hands and feet have to move in a certain way for you to still feel. It's called treading the water. Yeah. I can float.
Achha.
This way or face up or belly down, belly up or belly down also I can float. Without any trouble. In deeper, like 17 feet, 20 feet also. But I can't tread. वहाँ पे थोड़ी फटती है मेरी, that I have not been able to. I think finally I'll have to get a coach for that.
I learned parallel parking through YouTube.
Yeah. Driving also, like I'm a terrible driver, but a lot of the driving that I do know is through YouTube.
पैरेलल पार्किंग पे वो मेरे को दिखा, अच्छा तो मैं आगे लेके जानी होती है पीछे लाने, मैंने कहा ओह जीनियस. मैं वहीं से ना पैरेलल पार्क.
YouTube is great, yeah, for all these things. Like if you're able to sift through the nonsense, it depends. Like there's a lot of nonsense also. A lot of influencers were saying like, I don't know, like particularly fitness.
क्या आपको लगता
अरे
है
बहुत
कि
नॉनसेंस है YouTube पे।
क्या नॉनसेंस फैलाई जा रही
बहुत
है?
कुछ नॉनसेंस, like fitness is not a look. Many times the people who look so great are not really healthy.
Not really fit.
Yeah, it depends on what fit for what, na. Fit to run a marathon or like that's the thing. Fitness is not a look. It's not a look at all. Like a lot of the bodybuilders, for example, competitive bodybuilders, for example, they take a lot of stuff, and it's not exactly like illegal in their sport because they don't like test them for such stuff. So when they're on stage, they're not really at their healthiest. They look great. All the grainy muscle and huge, and some of them are like 250 260 pounds. तो 120 किलो के ऊपर होते हैं, 130 किलो के होते हैं, and carry a lot of muscle and full muscle, very thin skin, they have the tan and all that, but they're at the weakest health wise because they can't sustain that for too long. After that day they need to replenish their body salts because they deprive themselves of so many things. They take so many things to flush out like water from under your skin and to create the fullness of muscles. There are a lot of injectable site enhancement oils that they do. Even the top bodybuilders, they take. So all of these things do have certain drawbacks, and it is possible for you to, if you are a professional bodybuilder, I would say it is possible for you to safely do it under the circumstances that you are a professional bodybuilder, not if you're a model or something like that. So, but they're not healthiest at all, and a lot of them pass out, they faint, they have cardiac arrest, they dehydrate on stage. All of these things happen.
Lately a lot of people are dying in gym. Have you been reading about it?
Yeah.
People are getting heart attacks.
It is possible to have an elevated heart rate just from taking some kind of an amino acid which may have some kind of a stimulant, like caffeine. Yeah, many times they don't read the label. So you've had like a cup of coffee and you take like 2 or 3 scoops of that thing, and that also has caffeine. So suddenly you have like 600 mg of caffeine or something like that, which is quite high. And then if you do have, like after a certain age, if you do have some cardiovascular disease in your family, because it's hereditary also, then you are susceptible to this. So then you are an elevated heart rate. And say if you're on a treadmill and your heart rate is already elevated and you are jogging or cycling or running, then your heart rate will go even more higher, na? So then it's possible for you to have issues with the heart.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't know.
And then most of them are in like late 30s, early 40s, इनको ही होता है.
हाँ.
And
yeah.
many of their lifestyles also, I feel like, long nights, they don't get enough rest. I see a lot of actors, and I don't know that much now, but like previously the television schedules were like so crazy, and but they used to like stay up in the night, party and show up to work. And abhi bhi I know some people who, and there are action guys who I work with who do 2 shifts. They do a day shift and a night shift
Action
on the same
guys?
day. Action, stunt men and everywhere. वो 2 shift करते हैं, and then they're almost proud of that. And I'm like, please don't be proud. Like it's your health and all that. So all of these things at some point will add up. I'm not saying कि हर case में कोई मतलब ऐसा है, but I know a lot of actors do take stuff. They don't really like talking about it because mostly they post Instagram reels about them lifting weights or doing some stuff. But many of them do take some kind of anabolic steroids and stuff like to be able to maintain the kind of muscle mass that they have. They do that. So they do, some of them, not all of them, but some of them. It is possible, by the way, if you understand yourself and if you take very little, there are safe ways to do it. I wouldn't say that कि ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है कि it's bad or something like that, because sometimes if you have to look a certain way, that's the only way. That's the only way.
So like let's say अगर मैं कुछ fitness related YouTube पे देख रहा हूँ, what are the things which should like start that alarm in my like head कि bro ये गलत है, मतलब what are those words or phrases जो अगर आप सुनो तो आपको
most of that this thing only clickbaits, मतलब lose weight and get abs in like 5 days. I'm just exaggerating right now, but most of them, and they'll go on to admit that it's that they did a clickbait, and there's such conflicting information because fitness वाले ऐसे भी हैं कि जब मैगी खा के एक वो भी है जो पूरा आपको कुछ नहीं खाने देते हैं, वैसे लोग भी है, तो अब किसकी सुने? Yeah, it's damn confusing. Like if you go through the stuff, I don't watch any of the fitness stuff, but because the algorithm, like I'm an avid fan of bodybuilding. To watch competitions, and so I follow some of the bodybuilders और जो बड़े वाले contests होते हैं.
जो आप बता रहे हो जो शायद fit नहीं भी हो वो वाले जो.
हाँ, जो professional bodybuilders है, जो international IFBB लीग में जो खेलते हैं.
What is IFBB?
IFB, International Federation for Bodybuilding. Yeah, that's one of the organizations. There are others also, but IFBB is the most powerful. Like how UFC is the most powerful among. So like that IFBB. So the Mr. Olympia वो organize करवाते हैं. That's probably the biggest and the most prestigious bodybuilding contest. Then you have Arnold Classic, which is Arnold's show, which is also IFBB associated. IFBB accreditation है उसको. तो इधर एक शेरू क्लासिक करके
वो वीडियो के मतलब वो
no, it's a live shows.
It's a live show
with a judging panel and all that. तो यहाँ पे शेरू क्लासिक करके आता था. That was also an IFBB contest. यहाँ पे कुछ साल हुआ था, फिर कुछ फ्रॉड हुआ था मेजर. अच्छा बंद हो गया. तो
बॉडी बिल्डिंग से रिलेटेड इंडिया में भी कोई एक्टिव शो है जहाँ पे आप ऐसे? यहाँ
पे लोकल बहुत होता है.
लोकल
हाँ, लोकली बहुत होता है. और ये मिस्टर इंडिया ये वो सब होता है ना.
They are yet to get like an OTT back them and sort of famous.
मैंने नोटिस किया है यहाँ ज्यादातर लोग ना इंडियन बॉडी बिल्डर से ब्रॉन्जर लगाते हैं. In order to sort of darken the skin, because in the lights then वो muscle definitions अच्छे से दिखेगा. So oil and then हाँ, bronzer is a very cheap thing. It's like it's bronze in color और चिपकता है हर जगह. Whereas the IFBB guys, the international guys, they use pro tan, which is like not chipku, and then it's just once you have it and if it's I'm telling you have to get the lighting right, you have to get the tan right. Tan थोड़ा under हो गया, over हो गया, you look flat on stage.
Damn.
Yeah, and then they have to time everything, which is why they're at the weakest. And there are so many times, almost every year there are bodybuilders who have cramps on stage, who have seizures, who have cardiac arrest, and even famous ones. Some people even die, they don't make it.
So you win a bodybuilding competition कि जितना weight उठा पा रहे हो max?
नहीं, it's not about lifting ना. Bodybuilding is about presenting your body. That's lifting. That's powerlifting.
अच्छा, वो तो अपना Olympics वाला हो
गया. Those are Olympics.
यहाँ पे you come and present your body.
अंग प्रदर्शन.
So
you wear the smallest of jock straps, and then you flex. There are 7 mandatory poses: front double bicep, side chest, side tricep, most muscular, abs and thighs, back double bicep, back lat spread, and then the relaxed position. So all of these positions are there, and then they'll do like one creative routine also कि कोई गाना बजाएंगे उस पे वो लोग अलग अलग पोज करेंगे. And some people are quite creative also. वहाँ पे थोड़ा जो डांस वांस कर लेते हैं, ब्रेक डांस वगैरह कर लेते हैं, वो तो स्प्लिट्स करते हैं.
उनको एक brownie
an entertainment show also. मिलता होगा कुछ कॉन्टेस्ट पे, लाइक द IFBB, लाइक द ओलंपियाड में तो अभी वो रूटीन के लिए इतना पॉइंट्स नहीं देते हैं, ओनली मैंडेटरीज के. एक ज़माना था जब 80s अर्ली 90s में वो योर इंडिविजुअल रूटीन ऑल्सो वॉज यू यूज्ड टू गेट पॉइंट्स. नाउ दे डोंट हैव, दे हैव टेकन अवे. सो अ लॉट ऑफ देम दे डोंट रियली बॉदर सो मच विद द इंडिविजुअल रूटीन्स. दे डोंट गेट वेरी क्रिएटिव. They just come and hit some poses, they'll hype the crowd and they'll do that, and then all their best poses they'll hit and go. But there are no points for that. The points will be in comparisons and in the mandatory poses.
So when you win this, आपको क्या title मिलता है? Is it like a Mr.
If you win Mr. Olympia, then you're Mr. Olympia.
You're Mr.
उसमें भी weight categories है. Open class में it's unlimited weight, and then you have 212, which is under maximum limit is 212 pounds. Then you have classic physique. They all height के हिसाब से वो weight change होता है.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Universe और ये वाले जो competition होते हैं, उनमें they ask you questions also ना कि अगर आप ये हो गए तो
nothing like that.
Nothing like that. सिर्फ अंग प्रदर्शन.
Yeah, and then you are in the same itsy bitsies all the time, and they'll compare your body with other bodies, and muscle density, muscle fullness, striations, all of those things, hardness, all of those things, and symmetry, all of these things are see, I know this is little bit bodybuilders, a lot of professional bodybuilders won't agree with me. I'm a fan of you guys and this, but they would like to call it a sport. It's not, it's a pageant.
Huh?
Yeah.
So who calls it a sport?
They call it a sport. They want it to be a sport. They say it's a sport. I don't want to argue about it, but it's
weightlifting is a sport, right?
Yeah, because you can calculate the This is a pageant because it's purely on aesthetics ना, how you look, and aesthetics is subjective.
तो मतलब आपको बॉडी बिल्डर्स कैंसिल कर सकते हैं इस चीज के?
कर ले, कोई बात नहीं. I still like watching it. I'm fascinated by.
हाँ, ये थोड़ा fascinating है.
वो थोड़ा बचपन से ही था मुझे. One of my uncles was like a lifter and all that. तो बड़े biceps और फूला वो छाती लेके आते, तो Ganesh uncle, so I was like quite fascinated with that. I never really for myself, like मुझे ऐसा कुछ बनना नहीं था, but I like watching these shows.
तो जैसे अगर मान लो ग्रेट खली तो उसमें फाइटिंग उसमें थे ना, उसको अपना अंडरटेकर वाला
He was in the WWE.
उसमें तो बहुत फेक होती हैं चीजें, like a lot of it is
They're sort of scripted, yeah. They're like entertainment, जैसे हम लोग फिल्म में करते हैं ना.
हाँ.
It is.
तो उनमें भी तो ऐसी वाली चेयर्स ही होती हैं जो दूसरे
I know how to do a chair shot, but
क्या चेयर शॉट मतलब मेरे पे मार दिया.
आपको नहीं, मैं खुद को मार लूंगा, but then right now I won't do it because I don't want to have a concussion.
So
there are techniques, there are way to do it, and where to hit and all those things like that.
No, but the hit is real.
Hit is real, yeah. You know how to take it, yeah.
उसकी स्क्रिप्ट कुछ तो बहुत ही खतरनाक.
But you can still get a concussion. I mean, it's quite risky. It's like see, like there are stuntmen, na, अपने फिल्मों में stuntmen. They're trained specifically to do certain things, take falls and stuff like that. So a lot of these professional wrestlers, the entertainment wrestlers, they're also trained to do certain things, certain way. And there are tricks of the trade. आजकल तो YouTube में सब पता है. And we are also, the audience is always in on it. We know it's fake, but we still like it because there are characters, there is storytelling. And like जब हम नाटक देखने जाते हैं ना, live, या ये हरकत स्टूडियो यहाँ पे कोई शो चल रहा है, हमें पता है कि ये झूठ है सब कुछ, बट वी स्टिल वॉच इट, राइट? वील एक्सेप्ट दैट दिस इज रियलिटी फॉर दैट सस्पेंशन ऑफ डिसबिलीफ करते हैं हम जो जब फिल्में देखते हैं या नाटक देखते हैं. इट्स द सेम विथ एंटरटेनमेंट रेसलिंग आल्सो. देयर इज सस्पेंशन ऑफ डिसबिलीफ एंड यू बाय इनटू द एंड इट्स फन. And I prefer that it's not a real fight. Yeah. I prefer it actually that it's not a real fight.
UFC is real. UFC.
Yeah, but they have rules. Boxing, I'm a huge boxing fan also. UFC not so much, I do watch. But boxing I'm a huge fan, but they have rules. So within those rules, yeah, it's like...
Have you seen that?
You know why I like boxing? I like boxing, any combat sport particularly. I mean, I'm kind of gravitating towards more boxing. But you know, boxing is like life. You will get hit. No matter how good you are at evading punches, you will still get hit. But then what do you do after that?
It's all about
You have to still find a way. You have to still, if it knocks you down, you have to get up. And sometimes you can't get up. But you still find a way to sort of, move on in life and move forward. So you can be really good at evading punches, but you'll still get hit. But that spirit, and you don't take it personally. And I know, they have a lot of these, screaming matches, and they diss each other and all those things to hype up a fight and all that. But I think deep inside, most fighters have a lot of respect for their opponent. Deep inside, they do.
Yeah. Have you seen that film, Sarpatta, right? Like Sarpatta Paramrai, jo...
Oh, no, I have not seen that.
It's a very good film. Yeah, boxing.
The boxing bit, from whatever little promos that I saw, that the boxing was a bit dodgy. Sorry. It looked, but it's also tough to get
any
these
good
things. But Mukkabaaz, they got it really. Because he also trained a lot for it, and he was pretty skilled. He was very realistic. The boxing was pretty good. And even in the Rocky films, if you watch now, the boxing is quite terrible. Quite terrible. It's really difficult to stage it, I remember when Ko Dard Nahin Hota shoot कर रहे थे ना, तो मेरा वो 100-man kumite fight में there are some real taekwondo guys who are there, and boxers जो competition खेलते हैं. मुझे उनको बोलना पड़ा कि भाई don't let your instinct kick in. सब कुछ rehearse होगा, ये कौन सा पड़ेगा कौन सा नहीं पड़ेगा, because विनीत का ribs टूट गया था मुक्काबाज के टाइम पे.
What are you saying?
Because they just said कि because he trained a lot, but he's still not a boxer, right? Like the rest of them. So sometimes your boxing IQ and your instincts will kick in. When you see an opening, you will take the shot. And that's what happened. Maybe they got a little ahead of themselves and they said कि थोड़ा free sparring करेंगे and उसको capture कर लेंगे, थोड़ा real लगेगा. लग गई. He cracked his rib. Yeah, so that's filmmaking is still filmmaking. You have to safety protocols. But yeah, I'm sure Vineet won't do that again.
Dude, does Tom Cruise fascinate you with all the stunts and
Yeah, he has balls, man.
Yeah, really, crazy, na?
Yeah. I'm really fascinated with Daniel Day-Lewis because I think that nobody can be as dedicated as him. But similarly, Tom Cruise is fuck. Nobody can be so balls out like him. Yeah, at least not right now.
He is the only person जो इस scale पे मतलब जो खुद के stunts करते हैं. There is no one else, right? In the actor.
Yeah, but I think he's not just a daredevil. I think it will be really a great disservice and disrespectful to sort of dismiss him as a daredevil. There's a lot of meticulous planning that goes into each of these feats that he does, and I think they take the time, they spend the money, he puts in the work. And then I am sure he is very concerned about safety protocols, not only for himself, for others also.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so these are there, but it's all very, very calculated.
And eventually marketing it really helps.
Yeah, they market it, but he's not just a daredevil. He's not just 100%. A daredevil. And people say this about Jackie Chan also, but if you watch the documentary about Jackie Chan, na,
which one? I haven't.
There's one, I don't know the name, but usme na, there are, and there was a foreign fighter and he was throwing kicks, and Jackie Chan was like, I'm not going to shoot with this guy because his kicks are really great, but वो मार देगा मुझे.
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
हाँ, सेम ना मेरे को जैसे डर लग रहा था कि जब हर्थ के टाइम पे ना वो रियल फाइटर्स को मैं हर टेक से पहले बोलता था कि भाई एक्टिंग है, इंस्टिंक्ट, क्योंकि दे आर रियल फाइटर्स ना. समटाइम्स यू जस्ट फॉर अ स्प्लिट सेकंड यू जस्ट फॉरगेट, यू सी एन ओपनिंग, यू टेक अ शॉट एंड देन दैट्स इट, शूटिंग खत्म. I won't die, but then like, you know, I'll be injured. I'll get a concussion or like break my ribs or I don't know, solar plexus पे, and everybody knows what happened to Mr. Bachchan. गलती से लग गया था. His life changed after that. He nearly died. Yeah, he nearly died. So all of these things can happen because we don't know how to take punches also. Like we're not, our body is not conditioned to take punches. It's not easy. Yeah? People dedicate their lives to such things. So we should never get ahead of ourselves कि थोड़ा बहुत आपने क्या kicks मारना सीख लिया, you think you're a fighter. No.
But in general मेरे को लगता है थोड़ा सबको आना चाहिए, like train करना चाहिए कि एक level तक.
Yeah, it's great. Any kind of physical activity I think is really good. मेरे को क्या लगता है कि बचपन से ना स्पोर्ट्स और म्यूजिक में ना हर स्कूल में हर किसी को करना चाहिए, unless you have some reason
not to do it,
some condition like serious medical condition not to do it. Sing तो कर ही सकते हैं, म्यूजिक तो कर नहीं सकते हैं. The reason why I'm saying music because I think it's also the hardest for anybody to be like really good.
But like अब जैसे उनको पता है मैं बेस हो रहा हूँ तो मतलब should I still like sing?
Yeah, you know, arts में ना, yeah, you should try. Your own aesthetics also will improve. And when everybody like say for example, हम में से कितने लोगों को किसी राग के बारे में ज्ञान है? किसी को नहीं है. अगर है तो when somebody is singing ना, you are able to enjoy it even more because you have more knowledge.
Happens with my mother.
So we are film lovers, right? So we enjoy cinema and then we are able to also see certain techniques and we enjoy it more than other people. So if collectively if we indulge in this more in something like music or the arts, sense. So as you grow up, you may not become an artist, but you're still a consumer. But your aesthetics का level has gone up.
आप appreciate करना जानते हैं. My mother watches Indian Idol like that. Like,
so you will reject like mediocre quality. You want really like good stuff. So it's good, na? It's good for growth. An art form will grow. So you have to be really that good then.
मतलब वही like I talk a lot about Disciple ना. Disciple में सिनेमा के हिसाब से enjoy कर रहा था. और अगर राग की knowledge होती तो हो सकता है मैं उसका राग भी.
And sometimes there are people who say कि हाँ but their breathing technique is wrong. You know, people say that कि यहाँ पे breath उनका वो नहीं है, lung capacity नहीं है, इसीलिए यहाँ पे उनको ये लेना पड़ा. And my mother used to say that, you know, Lata Mangeshkar is a genius because you can't hear her breathing when she is the thing. बाकी सारे singers के ना ये आता है. अब वो गलत नहीं है, वो बहुत महान सिंगर्स है वो, but she was a little cut above the rest because she had perfected her breathing so much.
Wow.
I think towards her later as she aged, I think like her voice and like it's always it catches up. But in her peak, like I think like 50s and 60s, technical genius. She was like she's so good with not only it's not just talent, it's just rigorous training. And I think they also identify that we want to do this better and people don't understand. People is like, why? So what if you hear a little bit of the breath? क्या फर्क पड़ता है? But to some people they get obsessed with it and no, we want to do that. So then, and most people don't even realize why they're even better than many others. वो बहुत nuanced होता है. So that's what I'm saying कि बचपन से ही if you are like indulge in the arts, you will not become a great artist or something, but your standards will go up. What you like and what you accept.
वो होता है ना कि किसी भी चीज को 10,000 आवर्स कर लो तो आप वो 1% में तो आ जाते हो. बट फिर 1% to 0.1% वाली जर्नी भी तो है. 1% मैंने कहा था बेट छोड़ जाओगे यो हो गया मेरा तो.
मुझे क्या लगता है आफ्टर अ सर्टेन पॉइंट ना योर इम्प्रूवमेंट इज द इंक्रीमेंट्स इज रियली स्मॉल.
Yeah.
Really small.
Yeah. You see it in
We feel that about some actors. Some actors or some singers or something like that. We don't know why. Subconsciously we think they are better, but we can't really tell why. Because they're like this much.
हाँ. ये particularly like I've seen when people talk about Irrfan. Right. Irrfan के बारे में जब भी लोग बात करते हैं कि वो nuances वाला कि and eyes. और particularly it's a beauty to see actors talk about him. एक तो हो गया कि यार चलो मैं बात करूं but I am not a professional actor, but when you see professional actors be like ये मेरे पास नहीं है.
He's a rhythm breaker, and then this is something I've always been talking, and I don't know if I can like articulate in a way, and many people don't understand that he breaks rhythm. Like me and you are having a conversation. It's not a rhythmic conversation. This is a real conversation. It's not prepared. Scene work में क्या होता है ना? There's preparation. So sometimes subconsciously, unconsciously, you get into patterns, rhythm. See, edit has a pattern. The editor, when he cuts the thing, he has a pattern. But when you're trying to sort of evoke a performance to be real, you have to break rhythm. And Irrfan was really good at that. And he's unpredictable that way. He never, at least all the work that his initial work was like that. Later on, I think maybe a little bit, I don't know, I'm not so familiar with his work, but initial work, if you see, he would break rhythms. You can't put a, मतलब वो ताल पे नहीं बैठता, and which is why we really like him. One, he uses his eyes most brilliantly. I think Meryl Streep uses her eyes really well, and Irrfan is like और कुदरत ने बड़ी बड़ी आंखें भी दी थी उनको, उसको बहुत अच्छे से इस्तेमाल करते थे. And also he'll break rhythm. You feel that, and some other actor would have already started that dialogue or not taken a pause or something like that. Irrfan would break that. Another person who's really good at it, I don't know if it's natural or conscious, it could be conscious also, is Nawaz. Nawaz also breaks rhythms. Particularly if you see Raman Raghav, 2.0. He's breaking rhythms all the time. Some other actor would have probably started a line or dialogue or a reaction to something like that. And he's unpredictable, the entire performance is unpredictable because he's breaking rhythm.
Crazy.
And you don't realize it. And then you shouldn't also, like you should just enjoy the performance. But these are the two things I feel that why Irrfan was really good and why Nawaz is really good, because they break rhythms. Maybe consciously, maybe unconsciously, but yeah.
So as a co-actor, when I know मेरे सामने वाला rhythm break कर रहा है in a very good way, so what am I supposed to do?
Nothing. You just like you're riffing with the other person. Na? It should be like that. You should not be rhythmic. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And it's one of the toughest things to achieve, like just.
Yeah, because when you're conscious of it, you will break rhythm, and it's just too long, too short, or anything like that. But you have to practice it, so that is unconscious, and you can't really pick those things.
Yeah.
I feel that a good performance, you shouldn't be able to set it on a beat. It happens. I'll give you an example. Like really, a lot of the TV shows, they're very rhythmic. अच्छा तुम मुझसे शादी करोगी? हाँ मैं उससे शादी करूंगी. क्यों? इसमें क्या खराबी है? मैं प्यार उससे करता हूँ. सी रिदम है.
मेरे को एक नाना पाटेकर का सीन याद आ रहा है, like
also rhythm breaker.
Yeah. He's talking to someone on phone. Some अब तक 56 और like कुछ है. वो फोन बात कर रहा है. फोन हाँ ठीक है. फिर वापस फोन उठा लेता है. नहीं मैं बोल दिया ना देखो. And I'm like bro you कैसे लैंड कर रहा है?
That's breaking the rhythm.
क्या you thought the scene is over, but then he's नहीं बस देखो बोल रहा था ना.
So that was a slightly exaggerated action, but it can happen in subtle things.
Subtle things.
It can be subtle where there's no exaggeration also, but you slightly half beat पे अपना response लिया या you skip beats or something like that. There is a lot of nuance that you can get from just doing this. मतलब आपको आवाज शक्ल सूरत बदलने की जरूरत ही नहीं थी इतना. इसीलिए इरफान में इतनी वर्सेटैलिटी थी, because he was used to break rhythm ना. वही आवाज में करते थे वो. But he used to that those patterns would change from role to. And his eyes, like it's just such expressive eyes. With just a movement of an eye, he lets you in. He lets you in as to what he's thinking. Like New York करके कोई फिल्म थी ना जिसमें वो anthology New York I love you. He's there ना, he has a segment over there, and he's driving in the car, and then he remembers something and he just smiles and he laughs. It's like, what a beautiful.
ये चीज़ है. So मेरे को जीतू ने I talk about it a lot. जीतू ने एक बार like मेरे को दिखाया था कि why इरफान is इरफान. तो एक बार जब वो एपिसोड के लिए आए थे उन्होंने वो रोग मूवी का एक सीन दिखाया था.
अरे he is so good in that यार.
है ना कि मैंने सोचा मैं खुद को मार लूं बट मोमेंट चला गया था. क्या सीन है यार.
And also that I think that's also रोग जब वो माँ के इसमें सुकून मिलता है. That's also there like and fully breaking rhythms like really unexpected. Many other actors would have played it, would have milked it for the emotions in it. He didn't. He just did it sincerely and with all those things and those subtle things where you feel that in your head like अब शुरू हो जाएगी line but वो नहीं होता है. He'll move there'll be an eye movement or a gesture or look up, look down. Something will be there, like
I'm so glad हमने डिस्कस किया क्योंकि मैं खुद नोटिस करता हूँ पकड़ में आ जाता है when I see that good part, but मेरे को इसकी टर्मिनोलॉजी नहीं पता थी कि रिदम ब्रेकिंग है.
नहीं कोई टर्मिनोलॉजी नहीं है. मैंने सिर्फ
हाँ मतलब आपने जो भी इसको टर्म दिया.
I was like why am I like I'm like I want to know why I like it so much. Irfan had his fair share of monotony also. Like there were roles where like that they weren't really as excitable as when you look at his body. So did Marlon Brando, but he's considered as one of the guy who really shifted the whole axis of acting in Hollywood. So when he had really shit to mediocre films like in the middle phase that he had, वो गिने चुने उसके 4-5 ही हैं जो ऐसे बहुत हॉलमार्क फिल्म्स हैं.
हाँ तो जैसे मैं एक सीन की और एक फिल्म की बहुत बात करता हूँ जहाँ मेरे को इरफान और तब्बू बहुत पसंद है, तलवार. तो मेरे को नाउ आई एम रियलाइजिंग इट्स ऑल्सो अ लॉट अबाउट लाइक रिदम ब्रेकिंग क्योंकि वो कहीं बैठ नहीं रहा है. मतलब मैंने वैसे देखी नहीं. दे हैव अ वेरी फ्रस्ट्रेशन ऑफ अ डिवोर्स्ड कपल. मैंने वो जैसे उन्होंने कराया ना कि जब वो कोर्ट में भी जाता है कि हाँ हमारे अफेयर्स हुए, जानना है आपको, उनके भी नाम जानने हैं, बताओ क्या तलवार में दे हैव लाइक वेरी लिमिटेड सीन्स टुगेदर.
मुझे क्या याद क्यों नहीं आ रहा यार. मैंने देखी है फिल्म, अच्छी फिल्म थी.
तलवार में तब्बू इज आल्सो देयर.
बट दे वर ग्रेट विद आई नो आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द या मकबूल थे.
मकबूल
क्या पिक्चर थी वो.
नेमसेक में भी जो लाइक ऑल दिस
these are all the really like the one the best films and
I think Tabbu is also very good at rhythm breaking. Very good.
I don't know kitna conscious because I've never really spoken to them. With Khan Saab also I never got an opportunity to sit and talk about life or acting or anything like that.
हाँ.
कभी वो मौका नहीं मिला, वो रह गया.
Is it learnable this thing? मतलब
yeah. You can consciously you can practice. You will get it wrong here and there, but I that's what I do like many times. I'm not very good at it, but I'm conscious. I try to break rhythm, and when I don't get it right, I'll give another take.
Very nice.
So you try something consciously, and then you get used to it. Once you get used to it, it's like learning a new skill. Once you get used to it, automatically हो जाता. अभी कोई बल्लेबाज गेंद वो होता है ना, they watch the ball and all those things like that. When they're bowling at like 140, 150 clicks, you don't have that much time. After a while, you so much net practice you've done, you know where it has to go, and subconsciously all that calculations will be done. ऐसा है.
You know, जैसे आप
acting is like that only. The more you practice ना, a lot of these things will happen automatically only with experience.
You know, जैसे आप बता रहे थे कि एज एन एक्टर जब आपको लगता है कि मैं अगले टेक में दे दूंगा. सो अभी मैं अगेन यू हैवंट सीन द शो बट मैं उसकी मेकिंग में देखा था सक्सेशन में. मेरे को पता चला हाउ दे शूट इट इज कि एक्टर को एक टेक और चाहिए तो वो ले लेते हैं, डायरेक्टर को चाहिए, दे डू वन सेपरेट टेक फॉर द कैमरा पीपल. क्योंकि वो डॉक्यूमेंटरी के जैसे शूट होता है. कैमरा टीम के लिए एक पूरा टेक होता है.
राइट.
जैसे करना है करो. एंड आई हैडंट हर्ड ऑफ दिस बिफोर कि नहीं, कैमरामैन ने बोला है कि मेरे को खेलने दो. खेलने के लिए सिर्फ खेलो.
No, it's a good thing. And it's a creative process, no?
Creative process.
It's wonderful, yeah. And I'm sure that's adding a lot of like interesting things, elements to the show. But with Irfan and Nawaz, I've noticed that it's consistent with them. And in real life, we are like that. We don't speak in patterns. We don't speak to a beat. There's no metronome going in the background.
बहुत मस्त. मतलब because I'm feeling so happy. मैं मतलब subconsciously ये सब notice कर रहा था कि यार ये इसलिए वर्क करो. और मैं सबसे ज़्यादा ये चीज़ नोटिस करता हूँ कि यार ये एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं था, ये खेल जाएगा. एंड देन यू आर लाइक कि नाउ आई नो व्हाई दैट सीन इज लैंडिंग. गुड शिट. दिस इज रियली
yeah, lot of it. Maybe I don't know. I haven't spoken to either of them, so maybe they also don't know. It's something that they just do.
Yeah.
But you can learn it.
You can learn.
You can learn anything. Yeah, you can learn.
Yeah. मेरे को एक बात बताओ, जैसे हम पहले वाले एक टॉपिक बात कर रहे थे ना कि यू आर लाइक ऐसे बॉडी बिल्डिंग में जजेस बैठे होते हैं, हम लाइक वी आर आल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट म्यूजिक, लाइक मेरे को ऐसे जानना है लेकिन ना हाइपोथेटिकल सिचुएशन, अगर आपको किसी शो का जज बनाया जाता है, आप कौन से शो में जज बनना चाहोगे? कोई एक्टिंग से रिलेटेड कुछ चल रहा है, बॉडी बिल्डिंग से रिलेटेड, कोई ऐसे कि आपको बोल दिया था यू लाइक शिट टन ऑफ मनी?
I just don't want to. I don't think I
नहीं, एज अ स्पेशल यू वोंट बी अ जज फॉर एवरी एपिसोड, किसी एक में जाते
बुलाते हैं मतलब, but I don't go because I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it.
क्योंकि एक तो बहुत तारीफ करनी होती है या बहुत
ऐसा नहीं है, बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं है. See, previously जब मैं पढ़ाता था ना, तो I went to design school. So that was my area of expertise. So I could take up a position like वो मुझे grade करना होता था presentations वगैरह. So that's like judging only. So you evaluate them based on project. So वो that was my education also. So I was qualified to do that. But a lot of these things that you're talking about, I'm not qualified to do that. And they're all very subjective opinions. Like, I couldn't. An acting performance is also a subjective opinion. I can have an educated opinion about it, but it will still be subjective.
Very nice. Educated yet subjective opinion.
तो इसीलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ ना कि अपना हमारे standards, मुझे लगता है कि we accept a lot of things that are very mediocre.
No, 100%.
Our standards need to like collectively go up, and then so that will happen when I think you indulge in the art from a young age. And
जैसे आप मेरे को जापानीज लोगों का बता रहे थे कि कितने डेडिकेटेड है वो.
It's the country of crafts people.
हाँ.
Yeah.
और पर्टिकुलरली जो भी वो हाथ के साथ.
They'll just do one thing. They'll do it the rest of their lives, and then if you see अब YouTube पे देखेंगे ना, most of the Japanese artisans they're all really old, like in their like late 70s, 80s or something like that, and they're also कर रहे हैं, and they have these young apprentices and with them.
आपने वो चाकू वाला चैनल मेरे को बता दो, आप भूल गए थे बता के.
हाँ, मैं भूल गया. आजकल मैं ये कुछ वुड क्राफ्टिंग का देख रहा हूँ. वो चैनल का नाम पता नहीं, बिकॉज वो जापानीज में कुछ है.
क्या करते हैं उसमें?
All sorts of stuff. They make buildings. They make panels, beautiful panels, decorative panels with small chips of wood and all that. कभी-कभी मुझे लगता है कि they do it too much. थोड़ा too much भी है. But I think they're culturally like that. Yeah, they're like they're like that. Even Koreans also, I feel like, because they don't get enough credit like the Japanese. But the tradition of fine craft, fine arts and crafts in Korea is also like, because it's close by. I think they've influenced each other. जो precision, it's just the kind of precision. We have some great crafts here in India, but I have not seen. Not many of them are like so precise. They give so much importance for precision. We make beautiful things, but a lot of them are not so precise.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think because because they are culturally also, they're more appreciative of such things. Maybe we are not. We are always trying to कितने में इतने रुपए नहीं हमको कम में चाहिए. हाँ, तो मतलब somebody who's said 10,000 hours into doing something and you want it for like 100 रुपए में दे दोगे तो बताओ. वो हमारा कल्चर है. In broad strokes.
No, 100%. I fully educated but subjective.
Yeah, so we have to be appreciative of that, na? So then we don't have that appreciation to do things better, which is why we import so many things. And then मेरे को बहुत irritate चिढ़ मचती है कि first time in India. Why not first time in the world? Why can't we be pioneers? Instead of beating our chests and saying that our past we used to be pioneers or something, shut up and just do something now. Don't live in the past. We have all the time and the resources for us to sort of do that.
Are you into paintings and like appreciating paintings?
Yeah, I appreciate like anything that has to do with the.
No, but are you also like painting hoarder? ऐसे आप रखते हो अपने घर में और ऐसे कि good painting?
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं है. Lakshman Alekar, I have bought one piece of art.
Okay.
It was quite expensive, but I met him in Hyderabad and he was having an exhibition here, so I went there and I liked something really big, but I was too nervous that my cats will shred it into pieces. Unprotected canvas tha wo. So then I bought a smaller one, which is I think 3x3 or 4x4, which costs a lot of money, but that's my only investment into art. Otherwise I have fake prints. I have like Klimt के prints है और फिर Basquiat के prints है. वो सब है. I'm not such a fanatic. I like looking at art, but I'm not a collector like that. कि मैं
collector आप जूतों के हो. कलेक्टर शूज.
कलेक्ट तो सिर्फ ये भी कम हो गया अभी फिलहाल. थोड़ी एम्बैरेसमेंट होने लगी कि पहनता ही नहीं यार, इतने सारे जूते सड़ रहे हैं. एक के तो वैसे सोल्स क्रैक हो गए. जब मैं शुरू में लिए थे ना मैंने So I had some pairs through which I got started. So I can't wear them anymore because the soles have crumbled. आजकल मैं दे रहा हूँ लोगों को ऐसा 9 नंबर जिसकी सका I have to like the people. ऐसे नहीं अरे गरे को किसी को
पहले इंटरव्यू होगा.
I have to like them or like they work for me or something. A lot of like the people who work with me, like the guy who does my makeup and no, his feet are too big. So the hairstylist and driver and all that, they get same size.
Crazy.
They have Jordans also.
मैं अभी ये वाला जो पार्ट चल रहा है ना वो क्लिप्स दिखाएंगे जब मैं आपके घर गया था और आपने मेरे को 2-3
अभी काफी चेंज हो गया. वो टाइम पे तो तहस ने मतलब पूरा ऐसे डंप करके रखा था मैंने. अभी तो थोड़ी बहुत ही है. But I have to move from here also यार. कंटाल गया मैं, बोर हो गया.
हाँ?
बोर हो गया मैं यहाँ से. Lovely cross ventilation in this house, but then it's just like too noisy.
And it's also extreme मतलब end पे है ना वो मतलब.
That's not so much of a problem. Like I don't have a car. If I have a car, there's parking का issue है वहाँ पे, and I would like to buy one, but parking का issue है. So I'm just thinking. I think I entertained the idea of buying a flat. I really liked one also, but now I'm like, let's just rent.
जब जिन लोगों को like मैं last time जब गुलशन से मिलने गया था इनके घर, I don't know, I was so excited. मैं कहीं I was switching places तो मेरे पास मेरा लगेज था.
लगेज खो गया था.
तो मैं जैसे इनके उतरा रहा शिट मेरा सूटकेस ऑटो में रह गया.
सूटकेस था, बैकपैक था?
नहीं सूटकेस था. एंड देन वी वेंट, हम ऐसे पैदल गए रूट पे. बहुत चक्कर लगाए. एंड यू वर पॉजिटिव कि वो देने आएगा. वो कभी नहीं आया.
मुझे अपना फोन मिला था ऐसे. एक बार ना मेरा फोन ऐसे पॉकेट से गिर गया था ऑटो में. तो मैं ऐसे भागते भागते गया था तो वही ऑटो को ऐसे 4-5 ऑटो पार करके फाइनली आई सॉ इट लाइंग ऑन द थिंग. सो दैट विच इज व्हाई आई वाज ऑप्टिमिस्टिक कि यहाँ पे ना थोड़ी भीड़ रहती है यहाँ पे, बट आई थिंक काफी टाइम हो गया था जब आप अपने ऑटो से उतरे, जब आपने रियलाइज किया उसके बीच में काफी वक्त
नहीं ऊपर आने से पहले ही मेरे को रियलाइज
होता. नीचे से हम लोग वहीं से हम लोग उसे चक्कर काट गए. नहीं मिला यार.
Yeah, but dude, how are your cats?
They are तो ऐश है, तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Absolutely no problem. I think they are the, at least that's my human perception of it. उनको किसी भी चीज़ की कोई तकलीफ नहीं है. They are loved, fed, cared for, and I even put up with some of their tantrums. Yeah, so they're.
What are their names?
The mother is Ira. Her son is called. They have many names, but मैं basic name बता देता हूँ आपको. Her mother is called Ira. Her son is called Ginger. Ginger Singh, actually. Full name Yo-Yo Ginger Singh.
Yo-Yo Ginger Singh.
But I also call him Buju Banton. I usually refer to him as Buju Banton. And the daughter is Einstein.
Daughter is Einstein.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's a Jew. Ashkenazi Jew.
काफी सही. And
no, she's very smart. That's why. Now she's retired her intelligence. She was very smart when she was a little one. जब cats ना पहले rodents ही लगते हैं जब वो पैदा होते हैं तो they look like rats. And once the fur and all comes out, then they become cute. Otherwise, they look like rats only.
And I remember, dude, like he was such a lovely host that day also. जब like हम बैठे थे, you ordered something Blue Tokai से.
The sandwiches from
yes.
Yeah, because you didn't know that Blue Tokai also has some decent food. Nice food. I haven't had Blue Tokai food for a long time now.
And like abhi are you ऐसे meditating and stuff? Like
I never meditate. I sleep.
8 hours?
Yeah. 8.5, sometimes 9 if I need to. But I value sleep. I think I always have valued sleep. And I think my ex-wife was telling me that she saw somebody give a talk on that and how it can be really helpful with depression and things like that.
Yeah.
And ये तो मैं बचपन से करता था. I grew up alone, so a lot of the times I didn't know how to deal with things. I would just go to sleep.
अभी तो पूरा एपिडेमिक है कि लोग सो ही नहीं पा रहे. मतलब it's crazy.
Yeah.
People are not able to sleep. मतलब कभी-कभी वो समझ भी नहीं आता, but like it's very real.
But see, I feel that it's मैं शुरू में कह रहा था ना कि our biology has not kept up with technology. So I think a lot to do with that because we are so accessible and so many things are accessible to us.
मतलब जैसे थोड़ा
like you are accessible. I can call you at any time, right? And you have access to things also. Like you can watch things at any time. There's no full freedom, and then you get caught up in that thing. And then the whole work culture also is like so terrible. I think it's quite terrible. because of this accessibility. Like people are like, I refuse to take work calls after 7 o'clock and before 9. I don't respond unless if they're friends. Like if it's not work related, then I do. Even with friends also, if it's work related, when I'm working with them, between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. and Sunday holiday. But if I'm filming, if I'm on set, then wo call times and schedules and all that discuss karna hota hai, so I do make a leeway, but really short. I don't call up my manager at like 10:30 in the night and like ask her कि ये है वो उसका क्या हुआ इसका क्या है ये है वो है, नहीं करता मैं. But others do. So she's working all the time.
Sure.
Even on holidays. I rarely would call my manager on a holiday because I am like, you're on a holiday. Why? I'll manage.
And in general, जो भी wake का वो है जहाँ पे the hours when you are awake, how is your phone hygiene then? Like, do you end up like scrolling a lot?
Most of the time Twitter में कुछ तो बकवास करता रहता हूँ. Yeah.
But like फिर भी overall under control.
I think mostly I end up watching YouTube a lot. And then after YouTube, it would probably be Twitter.
But like you're not watching. आप कुछ जैसे Japanese देख रहे हो तो मतलब ऐसे कुछ आप.
No, it depends on sometimes कचरा also like.
क्या कचरा बताओ ना.
Could be something funny nonsense like all of these these Instagram reels also, but terribly entertaining. Terribly entertaining. So I do watch that. It stimulates you at that point of time, and sometimes there are some really talented people doing some really crazy stuff. So that's there. There's memes and all of those things like that. But I don't think like that's the only thing that I'm like I don't mind it, but my life is not only about that.
मतलब वो वाला balance बहुत.
Through YouTube you can learn more. I feel that you can learn more through YouTube. इससे पहले मैं टेलीविजन से सीखता था. बचपन मेरी सब टीवी देखते देखते गुजरा है.
YouTube is also a investment where you are deciding. YouTube में बहुत ही intention based है. मतलब ठीक है एक तो एल्गोरिथम हो गया, बट लाइक आप फिर भी सर्च करोगे
कर सकते
कि यार मेरे को कुछ जापान का देखना है, मेरे को वुडवर्क देखना है, सो यू आर गोइंग देयर विद एन इंटेंशन कि मेरे को चलचित्र का वीडियो देखना है, मेरे को लाइक इरफान के इंटरव्यूज देखने हैं. Instagram is not intention based.
No.
Someone else is deciding everything. They have also made Twitter like that now. उस पे दो आते हैं, for you, following. Right, so for
I don't particularly mind it. I easily switch to the phone.
But I'm just saying कि everything they are trying to do. जैसे अभी I was in Dubai और वहाँ पे एक पूरा summit था, NAS summit. वहाँ पे all the biggest YouTubers in the world had come और सब ये decide कर रहे थे आज के डेट में आपके 1 लाख फॉलोअर या 1 मिलियन हो. If you have 1 million followers doesn't mean you'll get 1 million views. क्योंकि every video is at the mercy of algorithm. So follower का पूरा concept खत्म हो गया. Every video is.
There are so many of them, like there are Instagram accounts with like 5.7 million followers, and they get like 17,000 likes.
Yes, exactly what I'm talking about.
Algorithm.
पूरा algorithm.
Bubble burst कब का हो गया?
हाँ. As अभी भी होता है क्या like as actors कि वो पूछते हैं कि नहीं कि ये चेक करते हैं कि लोग इसको इसमें नहीं लेंगे.
Maybe they are checking. I don't know. I don't care.
हाँ कि follower कम है तो नहीं लेंगे.
I don't get jobs based on that.
Which is great.
And I will not get jobs if it is based on that. I don't think so. I think we sometimes, they say they're too quick to ring the doomsday bell. Many of them. And particularly
many of them being?
Us, you, me, everybody, like people also. And then collectively also, and also like people from the media. जैसे 4 फिल्में साउथ इंडस्ट्री से चल गई, उनको लग गया कि हिंदी का झाड़ू लग गया, क्या कुछ नहीं है. और 4 फिल्में ली उनकी, ठीक है. फिर OTT आ गया तो सिनेमा बंद हो गया है. सो इमीडिएटली दे स्टार्ट रिंगिंग द डूम्स, अब तो सब खत्म हो गया, अब क्या करोगे ना. दैट मुश्किल है. सी द कंपटीशन इज रियली गुड. कंपटीशन विल ओनली ब्रीड क्या कहते हैं इसको, कंपटीशन ब्रीड्स व्हाट रे,
competition breeds excellence.
So this competition, we have to embrace this competition. There's so much that we can learn from each other and it will be good. Yes, the theatrical business is competing with people sitting at home and watching it on their mobiles. Like I was talking to my driver and then I think when was the last time you saw a film? I said कुछ महीने पहले सर हो गया, काफी टाइम हो गया, फैमिली के साथ किया था. बाकी सब कैसे देखते हो? ये मोबाइल पे ऐप आता है ना, उसमें देख लेता हूँ. लेकिन थिएटर क्यों नहीं जा रहा है? He had no question. He couldn't answer because he knew I was. Because he like if he says something कि सर को बुरा लगेगा or something like that. I'm like see, and I was like no, see it's exactly why. It's difficult, but it's a challenge. So we have to kind of like, if we want the theatrical business to survive and people don't care about that experience, community experience or watching something, forget community experience, watching something which is larger than life. बड़े पर्दे पे देखना, उसको महसूस करना, उसका एक अलग magic है. Which is why magic of cinema कहता है. It's magical experience. वो same magical यहाँ पे भी entertainment हो जाएगा आपका. इसमें भी. Like I'll go through Instagram, it's terribly entertaining, but it's not cinema. I'm very aware of that. It's not cinema. It's not that entertainment. It's not stimulating in the way a good story would stimulate me.
हाँ. मेरे को क्या सही phrase बोले आप कि we are too quick to ring the doomsday bell.
खत्म हो गया.
Very true. ये हम अपनी सारी एंजाइटी ले आता कि बस like आग लग गई है जल्दी से.
एक्सट्रीमिटीज पे चल रहा है ना, which is वो है ही, मतलब this is the
like even outside of
era
internet
polarization.
Even in outside of internet हम clickbaits और titles ही हमारे की clickbait ही हो गए. किसी से बात भी कर रहे हैं तो एक्सट्रीम ही बात कर रहे हैं.
So ये बात क्यों निकली थी? हाँ तो I didn't care so much about like कि some people were saying कि अब तो Instagram followers देख के casting की जाती है or something like that. So they started ringing that doomsday bell.
Very
I didn't buy into it at all. Like
हाँ मतलब थोड़ा सा होता है और हम उसको reality बना देते हैं, which is never the case.
But people
But
start believing it, yeah.
हाँ.
If you say it enough number of times, na. Maybe they're not conscious that they are lying or anything like that. वो ऐसे नहीं है. There's this thing about lie, na. If you say a lie enough number of times, it becomes the truth. But this is not like that. But it becomes a trend. If you follow a trend for long enough, then it becomes truth.
हाँ.
Ringing this doomsday bell.
मेरे को एक बार तो वो आपसे ये ऑन कैमरा भी वो बात करनी है, वो नेपोटिज्म वाली. I love your like thought and like idea behind how you think like nepotism is not one of the biggest problems we have in the industry.
Not at all.
है ना, क्योंकि बहुत लोगों के लिए कि nepotism है, it's like a big problem. But like when I met you that time and you were saying कि it's not a big problem, उसके बारे में मैं थोड़ा बताऊँ.
People expect meritocracy. The arts cannot have meritocracy because you can't measure it. आपने ना मैथमेटिक्स का पेपर दिया है. You can actually evaluate and say कितने सही कितने wrong answers है, आपके processes क्या है, it's measurable. आपको 100 से कितना मार्क्स मिला है. आप एक रेस भागते हैं, there's a start line, there's a finish line. You can actually time people. आपने वजन उठाया, you can actually determine how much weight who has lifted. These are all quantifiable. A performance or somebody's talent is not quantifiable. You can have an educated opinion at best, but it's still a subjective opinion. How can you expect merit? It is about majority consensus. You want majority consensus. That's the game. So out of 100 people, you want as many people to like you or choose you over somebody else. That's what it is. That's why we dress well, we go there, shake the right hands, kiss the right ass, and all of these things happen. सब जाते हैं. कहीं पे जाएंगे तो मतलब उधर बैठे होते हैं, लेकिन उधर से जाके उधर एक टेबल में जो बैठे हैं कि I just wanted to say hello करके जाते हैं. Because everything is subjective and you want them to like you and that may lead to an opportunity. So you can't have merit. So how can you say that it should be based on merit? UPSC का एग्जाम नहीं है गुरु. Some people may think Rajkumar is a better actor than me. Some people may think that I am a better actor than Rajkumar. They're both right and they're both wrong. What's the only thing that you can measure? How much money your film made. But that's such a flawed metric because that doesn't apply to every actor. It applies to like the marquee actors.
True. And
so how? So then, and what is nepotism is a privilege, right? It's a privilege. We're all privileged. Somebody who is begging on the streets may have the talent to be the next superstar in this country over me, or somebody else who's like अरे like ये स्टार के बेटे को ही वो चांस लेंगे, तेरे को क्यों चांस दे? Maybe there's somebody else is more talented than you. This is an endless process, na? When does it stop? Like I have privilege. I went to private school. I got an education. I never had to struggle for a meal. When I was coming to Mumbai here, my mom and dad didn't say don't go. They don't depend on me to run their house, even now. That's my privilege. I'm aware of that. I'm grateful for it. There are so many who don't have this privilege. We are all privileged. But we like to point fingers to somebody who is more privileged and says like you're privileged.
हाँ.
हमारे पीछे भी लोग हैं जो वही कर रहे हैं, हमको उंगली देके बोल रहे हैं कि you are privileged.
Yes.
So for me, once I understand that, I'm like these things don't matter for me.
And I remember you also said कि
And वो हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री पे इतना they shit on हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री ना, it's the most democratic. It's also the largest in terms of like if you take television, cinema and OTT and all of these things into consideration, na, the largest amount of content is produced. There are so many people, there's more opportunities here. True. In the southern industries जिसकी इतनी वाहवाही होती है, वहाँ पे इतना डेमोक्रेसी नहीं है. जो फिल्में आके यहाँ पे चल रही हैं वो सब स्टार किड्स ही है. मेरे को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है उससे. जब जिनको नेपोटिज्म से प्रॉब्लम है, आपको सिर्फ ये दिखा रहा हूँ कि वहाँ पे आपको ये आई एम गोइंग इनटू वाटर बॉटरी राइट नाउ, इट्स वेरी रॉन्ग. सर विल स्टॉप दिस. लाइक वाटर बॉटरी मैं करना नहीं चाहता हूँ कि
नो, बट लाइक मैंने ये पॉइंट इसलिए रेज किया था क्योंकि आई रिमेंबर यू सेइंग कि एज पीपल जो एज एक्टर्स जो क्रिप करते हैं नेपोटिज्म के बारे में, यू नो लाइक बट ये तो गेम का पार्ट है ना, सो यू सी क्या रूल्स है एंड देन कम इनटू.
सी देयर आर सम ऑफ देम हु आर इन पावरफुल पोजीशन हु वो सब ये नेपोटिज्म का बैंड बजाया तो उन्हें टंटा बजाता, दे आर डूइंग इट फॉर देमसेल्व्स. सेल्फ सर्विंग, बिल्कुल सिंसियरिटी नहीं है. हो ही नहीं सकता. मैं बोला आर्ट्स में मेरिटोक्रेसी एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं कर सकता. इट कांट.
ट्रू.
व्हिच इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ आर्ट्स. यू कैन हैव योर ओन फेवरेट आर्टिस्ट. हमको क्या चाहिए? मेजॉरिटी कंसेंसस, वही चाहिए. People will not willingly accept it. Many people don't even understand that's what it is. We are all after majority consensus, not merit.
अभी ट्विटर पे लाइक जो आप ट्विटर का लाइक हाउ डू यू डिफाइन योर ट्विटर लाइक मतलब कि आप जैसे
It's an extra. मैं जैसे यहाँ बोलता हूँ वैसे ही.
Yeah.
It's an extension of myself.
Yeah.
I have to be like sincere and be myself. That's it. And which took me some time to figure out because वो ट्विटर समझ में नहीं आ रहा था मुझे.
पहले क्या करता था?
I don't know. सेल्फीज लगाता, पोस्ट करता था. सेल्फी पोस्ट करता था. I have some कोट और समथिंग लाइक दैट शेयर करता था. कोई मोटिवेशनल कोट है, पता नहीं क्या करता था, मुझे बिल्कुल याद नहीं है.
हाँ.
जब कुछ प्रोजेक्ट आ रहा होता है तो देन आई विल लाइक पुट सम डिटेल्स रिगार्डिंग टू दैट. बट इट इज एडवर्टाइजिंग सो दैट यू वुड यूज इट टू सॉर्ट ऑफ रीच आउट टू पीपल एंड लेट पीपल नो कि भाई ऐसा कुछ आ रहा है.
हाँ.
देख लेना प्लीज. मेजॉरिटी कंसेंसस चाहिए. तो बट नाउ आई थिंक आई हैव बिकम मोर कंफर्टेबल विद यूजिंग इट एंड एक्सप्रेसिंग माई सेल्फ. And I'm a troll also. With some people I'm a troll.
Like?
छोड़ा. ट्विटर पे बहुत इम्पोर्टेंस है. हर प्लेटफॉर्म पे मैं इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं देने वाला हूँ.
बहुत सही. अभी आपका ब्लू टिक है या नहीं?
हाँ, खरीद लिया ना मैंने.
अरे नाइस.
खरीद लिया. जब अप्लाई किया था 2 बार, आई थिंक पहले किसी ने करवाया था अप्लाई, नहीं आया. एंड देन आई ओनली सेड कि देखते हैं क्या होता है. अभी तो काफ़ी कुछ कर लिया हमने तो, बट इट वाज नॉट ऑथेंटिकेटिंग. एंड फाइनली देयर वाज एन ऑप्शन टू बाय. And then edit option आया था because I make a lot of spelling errors while typing. And so I thought, yeah, sure, why not? I'll pay for the service.
This is nice.
I didn't mind it. But I would say that if people don't want to pay for it, the blue tick is also fine. It's all right.
मेरे को तो मतलब फ्रॉम अ बिजनेस पर्सपेक्टिव आई थिंक इट्स
वो ब्लू टिक का शो ऑफ करते थे ना, वो सब निकाल दिया.
Dude, that day when विराट कोहली, अमिताभ बच्चन, no one had a blue tick. क्या दिन था वो.
But they all have to buy. But there were some people with 400 followers with the blue tick and all that. क्या show off मारते थे कि we've been authenticate. So again, that was a privilege. Now that privilege has been taken away, so they started whining out.
हाँ, और suddenly no one had. मैंने सोचा था विराट कोहली का थोड़ी हटेगा. विराट कोहली also. हाँ. मेरे पास अमिताभ बच्चन is tweeting कि dear Twitter, ये वो हिंदी में क्या मस्त लिख रहे थे.
But why? I initially thought I won't buy into it because for the longest time when they were authenticating stuff, mine was not unauthenticated. So I didn't really care too much about it. But then when it was put forward as a service, then I was like, yeah, it's like me subscribing to like Z5 or Netflix or Sony Live or F1. Now I have to watch Formula 1 on their own app. Yeah, why? It was so nice when it was coming on Hotstar. Like, now I have to subscribe to one more app. To 2,900 rupees or something per year.
नो मेरे को तो बिजनेस पर्सपेक्टिव से बहुत सही लगता है आइडिया कि आप फेम और मनी को अटैच करोगे. इतना तो तुम्हें टिक मिल रहा है. इट्स वेरी स्मार्ट. मतलब क्योंकि ये ना जब लोगों के ब्लू टिक आए या गए तो सेल्फ एस्टीम कहीं ना कहीं तो एसोसिएटेड होती है. चाहे कितने भी बड़े या छोटे हो, जो आपको जेलेसी होती है जिनके पास ब्लू टिक है उनसे, और जिन मतलब वो है कि आई एम अबव यू, जिनके पास होता है उनको
आई नो
लाइक अगर आपके 400 फॉलोअर है आपके पास है कि हाँ मैं तेरे से बड़ा आदमी हूँ, और फिर आप उसमें क्या एंगल है ब्रो, आप सब पे करो.
ऐसे देख, we are not aware of our privileges and we complain about others' privileges. The moment you become aware of your own privilege, na, it's a bit hypocritical, but we all do these mistakes, man. ऐसे नहीं कि I'm not here to hold a mirror to society. We've all done this. Like I remember where I had come here initially and I was sitting in an auto rickshaw and I was going on and on about some actor, about how he should do better and and all of these things and stuff like that, and that girl turned out to be his cousin. I was sitting next to in the auto.
Oh shit.
I was like, there's a lesson for me.
Lesson me if you can spell it out. क्या lesson है इसमें?
No, I was just took the liberty of like, I don't know anything about that person, their life and what struggles they have and all that. It's so easy for me to just take a shit on them. And I criticize word इसलिए use नहीं कर रहा हूँ because there's it's थोड़ा सा weightage है criticize. Most people we don't criticize, we take a shit.
It's a lower form and the least like नीचे form of criticism.
हमको सिर्फ नीचा दिखाना है. ऐसे तो मुझे बुरा लगा क्योंकि ऑल बिकॉज उसको बुरा लगा बिकॉज उसके भाई के बारे में बात कर रहा था मैं. एंड शी जस्ट आई मस्ट टेल यू दैट ही इज माय कजिन. शिट. एंड आई वाज लाइक बिकॉज शी वाज लाइक इट्स ओके. आई सेड आई कुडंट इवन से सॉरी. आई वाज लाइक क्या बोलेंगे अभी ऐसे.
Cringe.
बट आई फेल्ट शिट अबाउट माय सेल्फ.
Yeah man.
Yeah. When I thought about it, I was like, है मेरे अंदर एक एंग्स्ट है, मैं निकाल दिया इसके ऊपर. He has nothing to do with anything. ना उन्होंने मुझे कुछ बुरा किया है. इनफैक्ट दैट एक्टर ने सिर्फ मेरी तारीफ बाद में सिर्फ तारीफ ही किया है.
I have like read somewhere like a bitch is like a boomerang. अगर आप किसी के पीठ पीछे कुछ बुराई करोगे ना, it will come back. So एक ट्रिक थी like it's like a thing like कि अगर आपको किसी की बुराई करनी है वो मुंह पे करो, पीठ पीछे तारीफ करो. ये वाला जो वर्क करता है हमेशा. ये पीठ पीछे हमेशा तारीफ करो, मुंह पे बोलो ना क्या दिक्कत है. वो हम इनफ नहीं करते शायद. लाइक थोड़ा सोसाइटी मतलब ठीक हो जाएगा अगर लाइक इफ वी स्टार्ट लाइक सेइंग इट आउट लाउड.
मे बी यार, मे बी, आई डोंट नो. अपना अपना ठीक करो पहले.
हाँ, वन ऑफ द थिंग्स ऑन चलचित्र जैसे हमने ही करने की कोशिश की थी, we never review films. मतलब लोग कंफ्यूज करते हैं. मैंने आज तक फ्राइडे को कोई ऐसे नहीं कि फ्राइडे रिव्यूज. इट्स ओनली रिकमेंडेशन. क्यों?
Only recommendations. And you'll on your private thing, individual things, you have your own individual opinion about films.
Why shit talk?
But on चलचित्र.
Review मतलब ये कि मैं फ्राइडे की कोई गंदी पिक्चर देख के मतलब मेरा भाई मेरी जान whatever. Like मैं क्यों उसके बारे में? It's easy views. Like
yeah, but you're not in that thing, na? But that's not the point why you made the thing.
Yeah.
But that's the point where some other people made the views. Because it's monetized also, that you want views, you're dependent on views and the algorithm and all that. Yeah. So people use any trick under the book. I remember when Sushant passed, how many YouTube videos about like stuff.
वो tag up डाल दो मतलब फटेगा.
Yeah. And people were just, they know nothing about it and they're regurgitating the same stuff that's coming on news channels or somebody else has said just for views.
और ये किसी की भी डेथ के साथ देख लो, मतलब डेथ को कैसे कमोडिटाइज किया जाता है ना अगले 12 घंटे 24 घंटे तक कि क्या डालना है क्या नहीं डालना है. एक लेवल पे इट बिकम्स वेरी इम्पर्सनल. आप रिस्पेक्ट देने के लिए जो चीज कर रहे हो वो डिसरिस्पेक्ट हो जाती है.
We all sometimes have an idea as to what society should be, but I think अपना अपना करो मैं बोल रहा था ना, तो आई एम ग्रेविटेटिंग मोर टुवर्ड्स कि अपना ठीक करो यार पहले. सोसाइटी के बारे में
ये ज़ेन दे दो यार हमें भी, लाइक हाउ टू
अपना ठीक करो, बिकॉज वी ऑल हैव इनएडिक्वेसीज एंड थिंग्स वेयर वी ऑल हैव थिंग्स वेयर वी कैन इंप्रूव. थोड़ी सी मात्रा में सही, बट वी कैन इंप्रूव. लाइक you're not able to sleep enough, like just figure out why and get that extra half an hour of sleep. It will.
I'm very curious to know if someone asks you for feedback तो आप नहीं देते क्या, मतलब ऐसे?
देता हूँ
full ऐसे unfiltered.
Depends.
Depends. Like कि unfiltered.
Depends.
What would be your?
I do feel that it's better to be honest but sincere.
Sincere is must.
अगर कोई चीज़ आपको से फॉर एग्जांपल कोई फिल्म देखी है आपने और वो डायरेक्टर ने आपसे राय मांगी, तो मैं वही मैं अगर कुछ मुझे अच्छी नहीं लगी तो मैं शायद बोल दूंगा बट विद सिंसियरिटी.
वेरी नाइस.
या विद सिंसियरिटी शायद, दैट इज अगर मुझे बोलना पड़ा तो. एंड समटाइम्स मेनी पीपल डोंट आस्क, सो देन आई डोंट गो गिविंग लाइक हाँ बट आई थॉट दिस वाज समथिंग लाइक. ऐसे नहीं. यार दोस्तों के बीच में वो अलग बात है, दैट यू with people you know really well, people who are your friends, that's a different conversation also then, because you know them better, you also are better aware as to कि कैसे बोलना है, अगर criticize करना है तो constructively कैसे दे सकते हैं. हाँ. And you know that some of your friends are not good with handling criticism, so you know that it's better कि you avoid, rather you say that कि good. You do the opposite of saying that कि no, wish you all the best, or like उनको वो motivation चाहिए, backup चाहिए उनको, rather than criticism. But with strangers, I think I try and be as sincere as possible and as concise as possible. Because the more you go into details, the more you're digging a hole in the ground.
एक लेवल पे फीडबैक देना भी एक आर्ट फॉर्म ही होती है. मेरे को लगता है कि देयर आर बीट्स टू इट कि दिस इज व्हाट इट इज डन व्हेन आई गिविंग अ फीडबैक, दीस थिंग्स आर नॉट. मैं एक बार वो एक पिक्चर है सर्चिंग के फिल्म मेकर ने बताया था कि दे हैव अ वेरी सॉलिड वे ऑफ टेकिंग फीडबैक. वो ऐसे नोट्स बनाते मतलब भेज देता है कि क्वेश्चनर है, मेरे को ये जानना है कि आपको क्या ये फील हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ. वेरी स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चंस कि डिड यू फील दिस व्हाइल लाइक वाचिंग, और वो तो फीडबैक लेना और देना आई थिंक इज एन अनएक्सप्लोर्ड टॉपिक जो मेरे को लगता है, बिकॉज इतने करियर खत्म होते हैं एक बुरे फीडबैक से. मतलब लाइक अभी आई वाज रिकॉर्डिंग एन एपिसोड विद अभिलाष. हम उड़ान के सीन की बात कर रहे थे वेयर द किड लाइक रिसाइट्स द पोएट्री फर्स्ट टाइम टू द फादर बोलता है ऐसे पीछे से शॉट है, छोड़ दो, लाइक कोई चवन्नी डाल के चला जाएगा या ग्रैश हुआ में छप जाएगा. डूड लाइक ऐसे करियर डिस्ट्रॉइंग स्टेटमेंट्स होती है जो हम लोगों ने हमेशा बचपन में सुनी है. एंड सम पीपल डोंट हैव इट इन देम.
बट वन साइज फिट्स ऑल मेथड है ना वो, इसीलिए
मतलब
I mean that most of those people have the same method for everybody, like such ruthless criticism. तो
अच्छा वो सबको ही ऐसे देंगे.
हाँ, but it maybe this will be motivating for somebody else.
हाँ, कुछ लोगों के लिए ये किक मिल जाती है कि then like कि इसको गलत प्रूफ करके दिखाना, and then they kind of like change the whole trajectory.
We don't know. I don't know. हाँ. We all get it wrong. I also get it wrong sometimes. हाँ. There's no like ऐसे कुछ thumb rule नहीं है कि this is the kind of advice. I think you have to try and tailor to it to.
मेरे को बड़ा फैसिनेटिंग लगता है हाउ पीपल टेक क्रिटिसिज्म. एक बार मेरे को याद है कॉफी विद करण का एक एपिसोड देख रहा था जहाँ पे ऋतिक रोशन आया था और वो बता रहा था एक बार मैगजीन का एक कवर आया था जहाँ पे मैंने लिखा था फिनिश्ड तो कह रहा था मैंने रख लिया था वो. सो हाउ यू डील विद नेगेटिव क्रिटिसिज्म. जहाँ अगर कोई फिल्म क्रिटिक आपके बारे में बुराई कर रहा है तो आप पूरा ट्वीट लिख दोगे. You don't know how to.
I know that also happened. These things happen. ऐसे कई मतलब कुछ actors they have Twitter threads also with like criticizing the critiques and
criticizing the critique. So
sometimes वो हो जाता है थोड़ा too much. थोड़ा लगता है. I mean I would say that best not get into such things.
Yeah.
It's आपके इस पे बोला था शायद मैंने. It's a symbiotic relationship between critics and actors and filmmakers and all that.
Yeah.
So they sort of need us and our work.
And
we sort of need them also.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be थोड़ा तनाव भरा रहेगा. But I think वो एक dignity maintain करना चाहिए.
दोनों sides को.
दोनों sides से. And I think we can't really expect we can't be selective. Like कि आप सिर्फ अच्छा ही करेंगे या बुराई करेंगे तो सिर्फ इसके बारे में करेंगे उसमें. वो पैसे उनको सेंसर करना ठीक नहीं है.
Are there any good interviews that you saw recently यार कि ये देख के मजा आया? कोई इंडिया से या बाहर कोई ऐसे long form video?
Actually, I saw an interview of Mr. Anupam Kher on that ANI podcast.
Okay.
I think people should watch it. It's interesting. He's an experienced person. He's an experienced actor. He recounts a lot of his. I think you can get some interesting perspectives from an experienced person.
मेरे को उनका कलर्स पे एक शो आता था वो भी पसंद था.
हाँ कुछ भी हो सकता है something like a good show it was. Yeah. His autobiography is also called कुछ भी हो सकता है.
मेरे को उसमें I still remember his question. उन्होंने शाहरुख से एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था स्लीप से रिलेटेड कि आप पेट के बल सोते हो या कैसे. बहुत I loved the question. कि होता है कि when you become a king, like it said कि you sleep in a certain way. So how do you sleep?
Yeah.
तो मेरे को it's funny because I don't remember his answer. I remember question was solid.
Yeah. I know he's also a slightly polarizing person because of his political standing and all that. Many people like troll him or like don't like him or something like that. But you can't take away the wealth of experience, knowledge
100%.
and he has. So you get very interesting perspectives and कुछ है उन जो उस इंटरव्यू में मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा and he's very articulate. वो बहुत अच्छा बात करते हैं चीज़ों के बारे में. He's very knowledgeable about things. So I think that's an interesting thing.
आपने समदीश भाटिया के देखते हो इंटरव्यू?
नहीं अभी तक तो नहीं देखा.
Do you know who he is?
Not really.
Okay.
Should I?
Yeah. मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. समदीश भाटिया ना आजकल काफी एक्टर्स के साथ भी कर रहे हैं. Like this guy, like आपने शायद देखा हो इनको. So ये एक्टर्स के साथ जैसे कर रहे हैं.
अच्छा. हाँ. Yeah. I didn't know his name, but yeah, I know.
बहुत सही है ना इसके भी.
I'm seeing it.
And he's doing it with a lot of actors and particularly the old.
But Samdish Bhatia, isn't he the same guy who used to do that Adda that?
हाँ. Same guy.
क्या था वो?
Scoop Oop का Adda.
Scoop Oop something.
Yeah, he's the same guy. So now he started his own channel.
I saw one with Randeep Hooda. He had one with Randeep Hooda.
Yeah,
I saw that one. I do watch interviews. I like watching interviews. Not all. पहले बहुत देखता था मैं because जब कुछ नहीं पता था तो मैं सारे actors के सारे interviews वगैरह सब देखता था मैं. You get a lot of perspective when you learn and all things. Now it's very different. It's very different. I wouldn't watch everything, but sometimes certain things are quite interesting. I know that they'll be interesting. And ये नीलेश मिश्रा के भी मैं कई बहुत कुछ देखता था. So he has a nice one with I think all of his stuff like has some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
आजकल हाल ही में मैंने देखा नहीं था. I think पीयूष मिश्रा के साथ बड़ा अच्छा वाला है. But वो भी ऐसा है कि आराम से. It's like you are sitting and then.
No, it's very important like कि मतलब तो आप हमें देखो जैसे मैंने आपको इसके लिए अप्रोच किया था. मेरा था कि हम ऑलरेडी बहुत बात कर चुके हैं और ये वो बट लाइक एक सामने वाले को इस मेटाबॉलिज्म में लाना कि अब कि हमारी एनर्जीज मैच कर रही है और कोई ऐसे नहीं सोच रहा कि जाना है. You know how interviews are asked कि we are giving you 25 minutes?
Yeah.
वो तो निकल ही नहीं सकता ना तो जो हम यहाँ करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
I also don't like it because वो कल लगना है वैसे भी हमको वैसे दहाड़ का promotions है तो there are time limits and you have to follow it but I feel it sometimes just like
हाँ अभी लेक्स फ्रीडमैन है एक पॉडकास्टर है वो लेक्स फ्रीडमैन का एक बालाजी श्रीनिवासन है उनके साथ पॉडकास्ट है 7.5 घंटे का.
वाओ.
इट्स अ 7.5 hour podcast.
वाओ.
क्योंकि मैं सोचता था कि अगर अभी जो रोगन के आजकल बहुत सारे 3-4 घंटे के आ रहे हैं सो डू पीपल टेक जैसे लू ब्रेक्स तो मैंने एक में लू ब्रेक भी देख लिया. चल रहा है 2 लोग थे. हाँ चल रहे आज.
I watch a lot of these podcasts and stuff on my iPad. मैं लेके चलता हूँ. मैं लू जा रहा हूँ तो मेरे साथ आएगा. हाँ. मैं कुछ कर रहा हूँ. making coffee or like something cooking food or something. It's there on the table next to.
हाँ तो मैं गेस्ट के पर्सपेक्टिव से पहली बार देखा गेस्ट है उसको है कि I'll just be back और चल रही है conversation. नहीं 3
I even go to sleep also sometimes with them.
हाँ.
I put it on and sometimes like go to sleep. There's the Chris Williamson also like I watch some of.
Dude. अरे बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ क्रिस विलियमसन का यार.
Yeah.
मतलब
वो गुरिंदर भोगाल का I like गुरिंदर भोगाल also and you should check him out on Twitter. I won't tell you much about him. GS Bhogal.
Okay.
He is
a separate podcaster.
No. Chris Williamson के. That's how I saw their conversation.
मैं सर्च कर सकता हूँ क्योंकि मेरे को देखना है. Okay.
That's GS Bhogal. And you should check him out on Twitter also, Bhogal. He does long threads. I won't tell you more, just see like a lot of things you'll be able to get some, at least he'll empower you to get some perspective on things.
एक तो क्रिस विलियमसन का पूरा हेल्थ रिलेटेड और ये जो पूरा माइंडसेट रिलेटेड है और आप उसको देखते हो तो आधी फील आ जाती है क्योंकि एक तो बैठता है ऐसे perfect body.
Yeah, and then it's always a little like that.
Yeah, little like that. And I'm like, bro, like I'm buying this shit because it looks so real. वो जो एंड्रू ह्यूबरमैन का दोनों ऐसे बैठे.
हाँ, ह्यूबरमैन.
Like बिल्कुल. आजकल वो एक मीम चल रहा है कि if someone like fucks up in.
I just want him to fold his eyes. I just want to like unbutton his shirt and roll up his sleeves sometimes.
Tattoo वाला.
No, fuck the tattoo.
No. Did you remember his tattoo bit? कि उसने कहा कि why I don't want to reveal my tattoo.
It's like he's some yakuza or something.
हाँ. There is this bit क्या कहते हैं आजकल एक मीम चल रहा है कि when someone fucks up their diet or if they have a cheat day, तो ऐसे वो एंड्रू ह्यूबरमैन के पोस्टर के पास जाके है failed you क्योंकि उसको ऐसे वो बना दिया like the face कि if you do something bad like ऐसा आपको एंड्रू ह्यूबरमैन को sorry बोलना पड़ रहा है.
But lot of things he's about neuroscience and about his research is basically about eyes, na? So many things that he says are quite like.
अच्छा particularly about eyes? ये नहीं पता था.
Yeah. तो he also says it's possible for you to reverse ऐसे थोड़ा बहुत तो सब चश्मा लगा हुआ है तो वो रिवर्स कर सकते हैं through regular exercises. मैं करता नहीं हूँ बट मेरा चश्मा लग गया
क्या
है. क्या
नंबर है?
तो याद नहीं है यार, ज़्यादा नहीं है लेकिन सिर्फ वो पास की चीज़ें नज़र नहीं आती. उम्र हो गई बेटे तो भी चश्मा तो लग गया. तो दूर की चीज़ें समझ में आती हैं, पास थोड़ा वही ब्लरी हो जाता है.
हाँ.
तो apparently it's reversible.
Crazy.
And he also says that he gives you a set of protocol to follow for that, but you have to diligently do that. और ये मैंने मेरे दोस्त से भी सुनी है कि उसके पापा का ऐसे वही है कि उनके 40s में चश्मा लग गया था, उन्होंने 6 महीना पूरा किया था ये वो ठीक हो गया था.
Crazy.
हाँ.
एंड्रू ह्यूबरमैन से मैंने जो 2-4 चीज़ें सीखी हैं वो है द फर्स्ट इज कि उठते ही पहले सनलाइट चाहिए आपकी बॉडी को, पहले 2 घंटे कैफीन इंटेक नहीं करना. एंड आई स्टार्टेड लाइक अप्लाइंग इट एंड उसने कहा आपको जो डे में 2 से 5 के बीच में जो आता है ना एनर्जी डिप, you stop having caffeine in the first 2 hours of the day and you won't have the energy dip and you start exposing your body to sunlight as soon as you wake up.
वो तो इंडिया में ज़्यादातर हो ही जाता है.
हाँ हाँ.
I think for like western where they are from ना the western.
But वो caffeine वाला बहुत true है.
Yeah.
कि
but also see how much coffee do you consume?
Like 1 or 2 cups.
हाँ तो वही है ना. हाँ. ये कैफीन का प्रॉब्लम उनको होता है जो ऐसे 5-6 कप पी जाते हैं.
आपका कितना है?
1 या 2.
And with milk and sugar.
With milk and sugar. So I usually alternate because I like chai also, जो मैं बनाता हूँ. मैं चाय के बारे में तो I'm very unpopular when it comes to tea because मेरी अदरक लहसुन कांदा फांदा चाय में बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लगता. I just can't stand it.
So what do you have in chai?
Just regular tea, brewed, broken orange pekoe or sometimes dust tea, a bit strong with milk and sugar. Builder's tea कहते हैं उसको. तो जैसे नॉर्मल चाय वो. लेकिन बहुत लोगों के लिए नॉर्मल चाय अदरक वाली होती है. नॉर्मल चाय
नहीं, मेरे को थोड़ा वैलिडेशन चाहिए, अपन वापस इस पाएंगे कि एज अ मेरे को बड़ा ऐसे खुशी हो रही है कि एज एन एक्टर मतलब आप शुगर इनटेक लेते हो.
हाँ
मतलब ऐसे कर सकते हैं.
या
अच्छा, क्योंकि मेरे को ऐसे हर बार ऐसे लाइक टेस्ट माय सेल्फ एवरी टाइम
a lot of stuff like क्योंकि ना देखो I also like I was born in 78 so like in the 80s also ना we didn't have access to a lot of snacky foods.
हाँ.
मिलता नहीं था. आपको एक चिप्स का पैकेट खरीदना है तो आपको बाप के मतलब पैंट पकड़ के ऐसे 1000 बार मिन्नतें मांगनी होते तब आपको एक वो चिप्स का पैकेट खरीद के दे देते. वो भी पूरा नहीं मिलता था आपको. है ना, एक कटोरी में डाल के देते, उतना ही खा सकते थे आप शाम में. But it's so easily like all of these things that have sugar are laced with sugar now. So overall your sugar intake becomes very high. It's not just the teaspoon, 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoon or something. I take 3 teaspoons in a big cup of coffee. I take 3 teaspoons. मुंडी काट के, but 3.
मुंडी काट के
मतलब heap नहीं है, उसका मुंडी काट के 3. Yeah. हाँ, so I like sweet things. I have a sweet tooth, but that's it. तो मैं बाकी सब ये मैं खाता नहीं हूँ. And that's why I eat once a day because I can eat what I like and then.
तो अब आप you can have dessert also.
Yeah, I have dessert and sweets and chocolate. वो रॉयस का चॉकलेट्स मुझे बहुत पसंद है. वो डब्बे खरीद के रखता हूँ मैं. बड़े महंगे आते हैं गुरु. वो जापान से आते हैं, बड़े महंगे हैं. मेरे 5-6 हज़ार रुपये महीने का सिर्फ चॉकलेट्स में टूट जाता है.
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
But they're so good. वो खाने के बाद आप कोई और चॉकलेट खाओगी. It's so good. Like I used to think Hershey's Kisses was the shit. Like, but it's like when I had Hershey's, it was really. Hey, मतलब see, it's good and all that, but this is like even better and much better quality and healthier also. Anyway, so I am able to maintain. Yeah. So पहले वही होता था ना, either you're on a diet or off a diet or something like that. So I wanted something that I can do consistently. Consistency is everything, boss. So I can be consistent with it. So either I'm off something, nahi sugar nahi, and then you're off it for like 3 months and they're going crazy, and then one kaju katli you have and then you are like in outer space in the toilet. So हाँ बहुत खराब हुआ था. एक बार ऐसे किया था मैंने, दिवाली पे गया था, मैं काजू कटली दबा लिया था 3-4. बैंड बज गई मेरी. my emotions, I was like, it just goes up and
और
down.
उससे पहले आप शुगर नहीं ले रहे थे?
हाँ, मैं पूरा छोड़ दिया था.
हाँ.
So, and you get into like serious, like I felt depression. Like I was having depression. I was so moody. I was so off. I didn't want to get out of bed and all that. All
when you were not having sugar?
No. Because I cut out sugar and then had it. When I was fully cut it out, I was fine. You get used to it after a while. And fruit wood खाते तो आपको लगता है कि भाई इतना मीठा है. मतलब केला ही है लेकिन ज़्यादा मीठा है because you cut out all the external sugars ना. Added sugar you've cut out. So when you eat fruits ना, they just burst in your mouth. खैर, तो मैं काजू कतली खा लिया था. उसके बाद मैं 2 दिन I was like, I think I'm lied to, like, I thought I was having like an anxiety attack or my mood swings are terrible after that. So then I decided कि ये practical नहीं है. क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं किसी का बर्थडे है, किसी का कुछ तो मीठा है यार, क्या है? मीठे के बिना जीवन का क्या स्वाद है ना? तो so I allow myself that 3 मुंडी काट के
हाँ
मैं मीठी ही पीता हूँ, बस उतना ही है. I don't like.
And when is this Kaju Katli story? How old is this?
2019.
Okay. और उसके बाद you decided कि थोड़ा रख लेते हैं.
हाँ, little bit I'll reintroduce in my thing. Like if I have, and I don't have a dessert every day. So if I do once in a while, I'll have like some halwa or something like that. But every day I don't have a dessert.
Do you have a trainer and a nutritionist?
No. Okay. Like I used to have a trainer when I used to do MMA and boxing and all that. But he went back to Nagaland, or I don't know where he is right now. So lockdown ke time pe a lot of these things guys shut shop. So since then I've been just training at home only, and I think I can achieve a lot of these looks on my own.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I'm trying. So let's see. Maybe I'll fail, maybe I won't.
Now let's come back to chai. So chai में आपके होता है normal chai, no adrak, no nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Do people like your chai?
I like my chai. That's important.
That's important.
I don't care if people like my chai. A lot of people, my ex-wife loves my chai. She likes my chai. My dad, mom, they like my chai. और क्या चाहिए यार? माँ को पसंद है मेरी चाय.
Either Martin Scorsese's Casino or Goodfellas, वहाँ पे हर कैरेक्टर का एक इंट्रोडक्शन है. So वहाँ पे एक कैरेक्टर को ऐसे इंट्रोड्यूस करा था. That guy could fuck up a cup of coffee. That's his introduction.
Goodfellas.
I loved that intro. उस बंदे की reality
All
है.
characters are introduced like that.
That guy could fuck up a cup of coffee.
मतलब इतना guy
I'm like, dude, ये कितना on point है यार.
But yeah, some people just don't know how to make coffee. All you have to do is boil water and put like instant coffee का 1 चम्मच डालना होता है फिर भी. I like it a little strong. So set पे होता है ना. Sometimes I'll tell my assistant to get me coffee, and then he won't make it. So he'll get the catering guys or the other guys will make it. The sport guys would make it, and then come back and I'm like, this is hot water. There's the coffee. It just looks like coffee. They put such little coffee, or they make it too milky or something like that. On set, I wouldn't trust anybody else, so I'll have it black without anything. Just sometimes when you're really a bit tired, you need a pick me up or something like that.
One thing.
Half a cup.
Yeah, मेरे को एक जगह जैसे आपकी help चाहिए. It is related to this only. So when I am at like home, एक ऐसे मैंने simulation create की हुई है कि मैं रोज उठूंगा, मैं ये बनाऊंगा, मैं ये खाऊंगा, ये बनाऊंगा, खाऊंगा. But when you start traveling, it starts getting fun.
Yeah.
कि अब आपके control में. While traveling, how do you?
I eat once a day.
हाँ?
Once a day.
So आप consistency वहाँ भी maintain करके रख लेते हो?
Only if I have to take medicines, I break the thing. I split the meal into like 3 or 4 depending on what medicines I have to take. जब मैं बीमार पड़ जाता हूँ तो मेडिसिन खाना पड़ता है ना, तो empty stomach नहीं कर सकते.
True.
तब मैं वो split कर देता हूँ उसको. लेकिन एक वक्त में थोड़ा दबा के खाता हूँ. But I also notice that I can increase the calories and put on weight, and I can decrease the calories and lose weight. Or I can retain a certain caloric consumption and maintain. Everything, muscle mass, body fat, all of those things can be manipulated. You just need a little more time, and if you have an active lifestyle, and then depending on your metabolism and how you're able to manipulate your heart rate, you're able to sort of lose and gain weight.
Do you remember there is this pill now जिसको खा के आप weight lose कर सकते हो? वो मिंडी कैलिंग का
अभी lot of things are there. वो पहले भी थे ऐसे.
अभी चल रहा है काफी ज़्यादा.
Fat burners they call it, and a lot of them are loaded with caffeine and beta alanine, and there are other stimulants like that. But most of these stimulants also elevate heart rate. Cocaine elevates heart rate. You can lose fuck ton of weight snorting cocaine. I wouldn't recommend it at all.
Anti
Which is why it's also very popular among some people.
Because it elevates heart rate.
Yeah, it's a mood enhancer, of course. It elevates your heart rate. When you have a cup of coffee, what do you think happens? It slightly elevates your heart rate, which is why you're like that. So which increases the blood flow inside. When your heart is pumping faster, the blood flow is faster. That's why you're like energetic.
फिर डिप भी गंदा आता है उसके बाद.
हाँ. शुगर के साथ भी यही है. शुगर ब्लड स्ट्रीम के होता है.
अच्छा.
तो so caffeine elevates heart rate. Anything that has caffeine elevates heart rate. So if you take in excessive amount, then वो ये होगा. And cocaine also elevates your heart rate, which is why that mood suddenly. I mean, there are some other things about cocaine also which I don't know, but it definitely elevates your heart rate. So a lot of the fat burners have stimulants, either caffeine based or something else that will elevate your heart rate.
तो उससे fat burn
होता है, excess water flush होता है, sweating होती है profusely. When your heart is beating faster, it's burning more energy, na?
Got it. Are you into sports? Like,
Yeah, sure.
क्या like do you have ऐसे?
बचपन में सब खेलता था मैं.
अभी currently.
अभी I don't play any sport. I mean, a friend of mine, I bumped into him. He plays cricket for some league. So Varun, so he lives close by. So he tried to say like, come play. मैं उसका kit विट देख रहा था कि आ जाओ nets पे and all this things like that. I don't think I can take it right now. I can't do it.
You can't take it, मतलब?
I can't get back into it. I wasn't very good at it to start with, cricket. I wasn't very good at it. I think I do have the aptitude, but I don't have the time and the patience. And I think I have to allow my body to slowly get back into it, which I don't think I want to do right now.
Got it.
Football is something, I watch a lot of football, so I'm very into football. I don't watch IPL, but I watch other stuff in cricket.
In cricket, actually.
I lost interest in IPL.
When?
2012, I think.
क्या हुआ था 2012?
पुश हो गया मेरा. पता नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
अच्छा, ये बस हो गया.
हाँ, वो that I thought too much cricket हो गया, so I enjoyed.
वो तो problem है.
So like everybody else, I'm also enjoying Test cricket now. I think everybody's come back to Test cricket.
Have you seen the Test, वो Prime वाला show? ऑस्ट्रेलिया के ऊपर जो सीरीज है.
Have I watched it? I can't remember. Maybe I have.
हाँ, तो ऑस्ट्रेलियन क्रिकेट टीम को ऑल एरिया एक्सेस देके जो पूरा शो बनाया था, उसके भी 2 सीजन हैं.
It's okay.
हाँ, उसका सीजन 1 अच्छा था.
हाँ, I think it's okay.
Season 2 I haven't seen. हाँ. And do you play chess?
Badly. If I have to lose, yeah.
Yeah. Like, lately I've been into
chess, cards, all those things like that.
Board games.
If I can cheat, If I can cheat, I can win. But then.
Board games do you play?
It depends, yeah. Not so really. I'm not such a games kind of a game.
So हमने अभी क्या मतलब
I don't play games, I shoot straight.
What I have started doing,
I think I would enjoy shooting games. I'm like full gun nut, so I'm like because it's a dishum shoot game होता है तो.
I remember you have a very good knowledge of guns.
I would say very good, but like good, better than
like a
average. Like for example, I'll tell you the advantage of having some gun knowledge. Many years ago, there was a video on Facebook that was going around. A young kid, I think it's in the US, white kid, was given a gift, and it was a rifle. And she was like, oh, thank you, and all of these things like that. And then the comments under that, all the Indians said like, I'd like to thank my parents for raising me like this. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And everybody took a shit on that video. Okay.
कि मतलब ऐसे gun कौन देता है बच्चे को?
And I think the Beretta company or somebody had, it was an official video on their website or something, but वो copy होके हो जाता है. मेरे को ना डाउट हुआ गन देख के. मेरे को देख के कि ये राइफल देख के मेरे को थोड़ा डाउट है. इसको गूगल करना पड़ेगा. So I started looking up on it. It's a competition rifle. And Beretta makes that thing. It's a 12 bore chamber. So it's a competitive rifle. So trap shooting वगैरह होता है. And the kid is a competitive shooter. It's not really gun culture.
Nice.
The way everybody else was taking a shit. So that's the advantage of sometimes like, you don't wrongly judge things to be like, oh my God. And the other stuff people were saying like, they were thanking their parents for their upbringing, like कि उनके मतलब है ही नहीं हो, कचरा है upbringing, so हमको ही आता है हमारे parents को.
But yeah, I think आपको हर जगह help करते हैं ना. You are much more aware of a few things, like more than the others. जैसे food related हो गया, health. देखो ये pattern है हमारी सारी conversations में. You go at that like you take that extra step to know you to be more aware.
Yeah.
Beat guns.
It
beat
helps me with my work also.
It helps you with your
You know,
work.
when I'm playing something where I know I have to know how to handle a gun, I can do that. I know how to aim properly and be safe also. Most important is that I know how to be safe with them. But also, like, sometimes because you know so much about guns, you shouldn't try to get it too correct also. Based on really depends on the character that you're playing.
But too correct se kya nuksan?
So if there is a handgun, if I know how to grip it properly, how to aim properly, how to move with it properly, there are different ways. Like, you know, SWAT teams would use it differently, army training would be different and all that. But more or less the grip is basic. It's that this is your trigger finger and this thumb over thumb. This is the thing. Not this, it's this. Aise, thumb over thumb. That's the basic grip. So there'll be thoda bahut variation depending on how big your hand is and how big the gun is you're handling and stuff like that. People tinker it a little bit, thoda loose tight hota hai. But basic grip yahi hai. But if you're playing a person who doesn't know how to use a gun, then you wouldn't do this. I did that in Afsos. I'm holding like that. And I was like, later, while watching the show, I was like, that's me. That's not
the character.
Yeah.
Very true. It's last year that happened, no? On set a real gun was there and like a person got shot.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's Alec Baldwin.
Yes, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, bizarre incident. Yeah, one can never be too careful. You should always be like, when there is a weapon on set, you should, even with blanks also you can hurt people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they have splinters, and also if the blank is too close also, you can get burns, and if it's close to the eye, you can damage your eye. Many things can happen like that.
Yeah. Tell us about Dahaad. Dahaad mein like kya?
I can't talk much about Dahaad because there's an embargo.
Oh. Kal trailer aa raha.
I can't. I can't really talk about it unless it's in their thing. I'm contractually obligated. But let me tell you something which is not breach of contract. I thoroughly enjoyed being in a police uniform. बचपन की ख्वाहिश थी मेरी कि मैं यूनिफॉर्म में करूं. ठीक है, पुलिस वाला तो हो गया, अभी आर्मी नेवी एयरफोर्स कर लेंगे बाद में. और गर्ल स्काउट्स का भी कर, बॉय स्काउट्स गर्ल स्काउट्स सब कर लेंगे. बट ये पुलिस की यूनिफॉर्म में मतलब आई प्ले एन SHO देवीलाल सिंह. I really enjoyed. Most of the show I'm in a uniform, so I really liked it.
Very nice.
मेरी वो तमन्ना पूरी हो गई. तमन्ना से याद आया, मेरा एक दोस्त है. मेरी तमन्ना तो वो था, लेकिन उसकी तमन्ना कोई और है.
वो मेरे को कुछ बोला.
ये समझ, जिनको पता है उनको पता है.
क्या? अच्छा.
Okay. मेरी तमन्ना तो विजय है, लेकिन विजय की तमन्ना कोई और है.
आपने मेरे को मिलवाया भी था विजय से उस टाइम.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah. He's a wonderful actor. He's great in Dahaad. Whatever I saw of him, he's a terrific actor. I really enjoyed working with him. He's so good. And when you work with good people, you're also more motivated to do even better. अच्छे हो ही जाते हैं. When you work with good actors is really, लेकिन बधाई दो, there's so much made out of my chemistry, so good and this and that and all that. I feel embarrassed to take too much credit for it because I was working with such great people. The writing was so good. I knew the director so well. They had a great team. Swapnil Sanamne was a fantastic DOP and Raj is such a fantastic actor. You कुछ करना ही नहीं होता. It's just like you just have to show up.
Yeah.
So ले लेता हूँ मैं appreciation, but I'm also saying that sometimes I do feel a little bit embarrassed because it was not as difficult as what people thought it would be. And people also credit the performance for being accurate and respectful of the queer community and all that, and put in terms of the portrayal and all that. We didn't even think too much about it. It's just like, you're in love with somebody, how would you behave? That's all. Wow. It doesn't matter if you're queer, straight or what. If love is love, then love is love, na?
Wow.
How does it matter? If I'm in love with this chair, I'm in love with this chair. That's my reality. उस script पे लिखा है कि you're in love with this chair. That's my reality. I have to accept it. So in the script is like, Guru is in love with Shardul. That's his reality. Why would I even get into if it's a man, woman? How does it matter? How does it matter?
सही बात है.
You have to be sincere to that thing, love. That's all. Yeah. So you don't really have to work too hard to create nuance or sincerity in the portrayal.
Yeah.
You're focusing on the wrong things.
True.
People get too carried away with physicality, body language and all those things like that. Focus on the love.
बड़ा पर्सपेक्टिव मिलता है जब भी आपसे
सिंपल है, वो तो कोई कुछ काम ही नहीं किया. Seriously, I would just go there and like that's all. I focus on like I'm in love with this guy. That's it. And my character is a bit naughty. तो वो सब करेगा, थोड़ा naughty है, छेड़ेगा उसको. हाँ, बस.
Yeah. No, I'm genuinely like I remember every conversation I always have with you.
How did you prepare? सब लोग क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं. ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं, because यही है कि मेन फोकस अब आपको मिल गया ना उसका. ये है फोकस ऑन okay, my character is in love. That's it. It doesn't matter if it's gay, वो everything.
True.
So sometimes that's not the answer that people want to hear. They want to hear research and how careful you are and how responsible you are in your portrayal and all that. That's what they want to hear. I don't have that to say.
तो जैसे आपकी पुलिस वाली तमन्ना पूरी हो गई, और ऐसी कौन सी तमन्ना है?
ऐसे कुछ नहीं है, वो तो है विजय वर्मा.
No, but things that you want to do in your acting career कि यार मेरे को ये प्ले करना है, इस टाइप का कुछ.
I don't know actually. I don't have any wish list or something like that.
अच्छा.
I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I think I have a fair idea as to what I don't want to do.
Which is?
When it presents itself. When something comes to me, I think I'm able to take a decision for myself that I don't think this is for me. It depends. The variables can change. Lack of interest to bad script or I don't know. Mostly it's that. Mostly it's just like I'm not interested.
दहाड़ के अलावा भी there are things जो आपने अभी.
हाँ, एक फिल्म रिलीज हो रही है थिएट्रिकल 8 AM Metro जो me and Sayami have done this together. Raj करके एक director है. He lives in the US but it's his script. Okay. And I thought it's a wonderful script. Yeah. So that's releasing on the 19th of May in cinemas.
Very nice.
Theatrical. Yeah. बहुत छोटी सी फिल्म है, वो छोटा सा रिलीज होगा उसका. Platoon Films is releasing it.
Very nice. Very nice.
देखते हैं क्या हशर होगी उसकी.
Nice. Great यार, like anything जो मैंने जो कोई चीज़ ऐसी टच नहीं किया टॉपिक.
पॉलिटिक्स के बारे में बात ही नहीं
क्यों. Yes, let's talk about politics. So politics पे जो
electoral ideology politics भूल जाओ. Start looking at politics and everything that politicians do and the ecosystems around them through electoral politics का lens. बहुत कुछ समझ में आ जाएगा. थोड़ा detachment भी आ जाएगा.
समझाइए हमें ये.
Electoral politics, all this ideology, everything is dictated by electoral politics. It's about winning elections. Winning elections is important. But everything is about winning elections and to continue to win elections. I also feel that कि when somebody wins an election उनको माला पहना के उसको करते हैं. It's a job. मतलब आपको मतलब you're a chartered accountant and you got a job somewhere as an accountant. ये होएगा क्या? No, it's your job, right? So if you're an MLA or an MP, it's a job. You got that job. People gave you that mandate, but you got that job. What's there to celebrate so much about it?
True.
Just go and do your job. If you do it well, you'll probably be elected. It's not as simple as that. We all know that. It's not as simple as that. It's complicated. But electoral politics, the moment I pay attention to electoral politics, everything that happens, I look at it, how can this affect something electorally? When you look at it, that creates a sense of detachment also, because when you look at ideology, you become emotional. फिर वो दिमाग खराब हो जाता है, and you lose control, lose track of things.
Because of the ideology.
Yeah, because it affects us, no? Because we are emotional, right? We have an idea of what is fair, what is not fair, what is equal, what is good, what is bad, and we have disagreements in that. But it becomes difficult because वो emotion हावी हो जाता है at some point. It's not possible for everybody to be completely unemotional about this at all. It's impossible. We are human beings. But if you start to look at something from an analytical perspective, then you become less emotional. And for me, that is looking at everything through the lens of electoral politics. How will this affect elections in a particular region or a larger scheme of things? A party's future, current status, everything. Ideology is driven, everything is driven by electoral politics. इसीलिए लोग कहते हैं ना कि इलेक्शन आते आते कुछ चीज़ें होना शुरू हो जाता है, उछल जाता है कि ये वो हो गया, एक फिल्म आ गई, इस पे बखेड़ा हो गया, या कुछ हो गया, यहाँ कांड हो गया, उसने ये फलाना बोल दिया. But if I would urge people to look at it, and it's not easy, it's not simple, but once you start looking at it through electorally, कि how then a lot of these things will start to make sense कि किसका फायदा होगा इससे, किसका नहीं होगा, क्या अंजाम है. So I completely believe that ideology is dictated by electoral politics and not the other way around.
Ideologies are dictated by
electoral politics. I'm not an expert on this. This is my personal opinion. I cannot claim to be an expert on this at all. This is me, an average voter who sometimes votes. This is my opinion. So I don't get very emotional about something.
Yeah, I remember ये आपका politics का particular.
पहले थोड़ा होता था. And that वो I got like वो होता है यार, when you see some kind, when you see some violence और वो बच्चों पे सब होता है तो थोड़ा you get moved.
Correct. मैं like हमारी बहुत जो बड़ी 3 जनों की audience है कैमरा में, उनसे पूछना चाहूँगा कोई सवाल. हिंडोल, any particular question you would like to ask?
Yeah, I had a question in between. Like 2 घंटे पहले ये topic चल रहा था, but I'll still ask it. That as an actor, you are always waiting for, let's say, a writer or a director to come to you with a role, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty involved with you as a professional. So how do you deal with that? Ki, matlab, there'll be someone who will think of a role for me, and then I'll play that part. Like just a wish list wale mein you said ki you don't have a wish list. So how do you make peace with the fact ki you have to wait for someone else to create a role for you?
Sabr.
How do I make peace? Because there are people who go out and create their own work, or like they hustle for it or something like that. I try to do a balance between both. एक तो मैं इंतजार करता हूँ चीज़ों का, और दूसरा sometimes when I hustle, but I choose my hustle. Sometimes when I know that there are certain projects and I feel that this will be great, this will be interesting to work with these people, or I think this role would be great for me, I would reach out.
Very nice.
Yeah, I try and balance, but mostly it's about sabr, and then things will happen. Because I don't want to get into full-on hustling, because sometimes you'll hustle, you'll get something, but then you'll realize that you don't really want to do this. It's not good for you at all.
Choosing your hustle. Very nice.
Choosing your hustle. ये मेरा ये है कि बाकी people have to figure out their thing, but this I'm quite happy with this.
Very nice.
And I was never in a hurry when I came here also कि मैं 3 साल में ये हो जाऊँगा, वो हो जाऊँगा, वो होना है, इतने पैसे आने हैं, ये गाड़ी, वो बंगला से. Never in a hurry. But I want good things to happen, but I want to enjoy the process also and feel like this is creating some meaning in my life. So I think I've had to wait. I came to Mumbai when I was 30 years old. People start their acting careers in their early 20s. I did my first role when I was 32. So.
Any other question? Vinayak कुछ पूछना चाहता है. Vinayak is a lot into rap music. अभी आप rapper वाला vibe आ रहा है ना तो. Are you into rap?
Gully boy. Yes and no. I'm not hugely into rap, but then I do listen to it. Some old school rap, like Run DMC का मैं बता रहा था. I like Eminem and Notorious B.I.G. and Queen Herbie. My ex-wife has put me on to Queen Herbie right now. She's not really a rapper, but then she has some rap also. Yeah. Quite interesting.
Abhi, what kind of music are you consuming the most? Like what?
I'm listening to 1980s reggae and dancehall replays. मतलब from 83, 84 रेडियो स्टेशंस का ना वो उन्होंने वो YouTube पे रिलीज कर देते हैं.
अच्छा.
So like 3 hours of reggae music or dancehall, like old. Yeah. So. Yeah. And you can see how roots reggae in the 70s transitioned into how the electronic music kind of influenced it, and the change of sounds, and it became slightly more pop and things like that. Yeah. And I Shazam a lot of these songs and they're not available. Like Shazam even can't even identify what these are. Because they're very specific to that time, and Jamaica is a really small place, right? So many of the like popular singles or singers from the early 80s in Jamaica, you don't know, the rest of the world doesn't know.
Yeah. Recently, is there anything from India that you saw which you were like, oh fuck, this is really good? As a show, a movie?
I enjoyed watching Jubilee. I really like the world that they created. It should not be seen as historically accurate, because it's not. It's based on a lot of things that happened in real, and the characters also, but it's not an accurate representation at all. So it's a work of fiction. Some people had some issues with that.
अच्छा.
But I was like, it's a work of fiction. So you have to look at it as a work of fiction. It's loosely based. Some things are loosely based on a thing like on Himanshu Rai or Ashok Kumar or something. But they're like Ashok Kumar's life didn't turn out to be like, you know, that he left or something. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. Spoiler alert. But मुझे वो world building, I could buy into it. In a way, I think I wanted Bombay Velvet to be like that.
क्या there are a lot
And
of
वो सिद्धांत का कैरेक्टर तो full on वो बलराज, जॉनी बलराज था वो. He was Johnny Balraj. It's another version of is Vikramaditya's motto and it's Johnny Balraj.
Jubilee's
Good acting,
good
storyline. It really holds you. The whole world building I liked it.
very nice.
I watched it. I didn't binge watch it because they didn't let you binge watch it also. पहले उन्होंने आधा रिलीज किया था. But that also मैंने आराम से आजकल binge तो कोई करता है क्या binge आजकल?
करते हैं काफी करते
हैं क्या? आप करते हो binge watch?
नहीं मैं नहीं करता. मतलब
मैं आराम से देखते हैं.
हाँ आराम से देखता हूँ. Unless and until ऐसे फ्लाइट में जा रहे हो और आपके पास 3 घंटे है तो आपने 30
सोते नहीं हो गया फ्लाइट? सो जाने का गुरु बहुत मजा आता है फ्लाइट में. I miss trains यार.
I still travel in trains.
यार वो नींद आती है ना, बहुत प्यारी नींद आती है. It rocks you to
आप पूरा
sleep.
डे बना सकते हो ट्रेन में क्या क्या करना है. अच्छा भी 3 घंटे गए फिर सो लिया वगैरह. तो ट्रेन में पूरा
I want to like do a train journey.
When was the last time you did a train journey?
Short journey थी I think झांसी to भोपाल.
Year?
हो गया 4-5 साल पहले. 5 साल हो गए. If I'm not counting a train journey that I did in the UK, I won't count that in. अब मैं देसी ट्रेन का बात कर रहा हूँ.
You know, like अभी एक एपिसोड आया था YouTube पे, जाकिर खान है ना जो कॉमेडियन, उनके उस पे कपिल आया था. So they talked about this very interesting thing कि यार जो हम करते हैं उसमें ऑब्जर्वेशन कितनी ज़रूरी है, हर चीज़ ऑब्जर्वेशन. बट जब आप फेमस हो जाते हो तो आप ऐसे बाहर जाके ऑब्जर्व भी नहीं कर सकते. तो वो बैलेंस कैसे बनना है? सच अ ग्रेट थिंग ना कि जैसे अब आप चाहो तो थोड़ा आपको सोचना पड़ेगा ना एक बार ट्रेन टिकट कराने से पहले, राइट? वो होता है कि लाइक वंस यू अटेन लाइक एनी अमाउंट ऑफ फेम यू आर लाइक हाउ डू आई डू दिस. कि शाहरुख खान को या मेरे को ट्रेन पे रिसर्च करना है, सिमुलेशन बना दोगे बट वो एक्चुअल ट्रेन में कैसे जाएंगे? सो एक वो डिस्टेंस आ जाता है. बट आपको अब और डीप जाना है बिकॉज नाउ यू आर एन इवन बिगर एक्टर. देन हाउ डू यू डू इट?
आई थिंक डिपेंड्स. लाइक इमेजिनेशन भी एक चीज़ होती है. इफ यू डेवलप योर इमेजिनेशन from the early stages and you don't make it, see, doing research is great but it's a bit overrated. I feel that it's more creative when you take something that you've observed and everything and then you use your imagination and you make something else, something out of it, you build on it.
True.
So it has its place, research. Say if you have to learn to speak a certain way and you have to more than research, it's practice. So there's no need to do extensive research every time. But once you get your building blocks, you use that and good building blocks, and you know I have these 5 things or these 2 things. Those are your building blocks. Then build on it with practice and imagination. So I think then you won't be that much. Observation तो हो ही सकता है कि कहीं पे भी अब चश्मा काला चश्मा पहन के देख ही सकते हो आप चीज़ों को. You can pick new things and all that. But after a point, I think you can rely on your imagination also to come up with stuff.
दोनों का mix होना चाहिए basically.
दोनों का mix. It shouldn't be only observation based.
Yeah.
So, with experience it happens. Like, you know, you need to observe less. You need to like think about things. I do feel that sometimes certain actors like I was working with Om Ji and he was all over the place because his health was really poor and. But when the camera turns on, he does things that a very experienced and accomplished actor would do without even thinking. It's like that ना कि सचिन knows how to play a stroke. उसको सोचना नहीं पड़ता कि ये बॉल पे ये मारूंगा, क्योंकि इतना प्रैक्टिस कर चुका है और उसका जीनियस लेवल इतना हाई है कि उसको पता है कि कैसे खेलने का. That's what I mean with practice. ना you get to a level where your process becomes quite short and many things happen without you actually having to think about them.
मेरे को याद है इस पे एक्टिंग रिलेटेड ईथन हॉक का एक बहुत अच्छा बिट था कि एवरीथिंग यू डू इन एक्टिंग इज टू आपका सबकॉन्शियस माइंड एसएप एक्टिवेट करने में, क्योंकि ये सारी चीज़ें कॉन्शियस हैं कि यार कि मैं मारूंगा कैसे वगैरह. तो आप जितना जल्दी उस जोन में आओगे ना,
करेक्ट,
कि सबकॉन्शियस के साथ आपका कनेक्ट आ गया.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And sports, that's exactly with sports, particularly with cricket. Most batsmen are like that. They don't have enough time. Somebody is bowling at 145 clicks. You don't have time to. Have you faced a ball that's 145? You can barely see it.
Yeah.
Okay, the really good ones are able to read from the grip कि ये release ऐसे जा सकता है वैसे जा सकता है, लेकिन वहाँ पे भी pitch पे depend करेगा कि वो किधर land करेगा किधर जाएगा. It's all that subconscious because you've practiced it so many times that those micro calculations happen subconscious. और वो बल्ला इधर 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 इतना adjust 3 millimeters there, 2 millimeters back, 5 millimeters forward अपने आप हो जाता है.
Wow.
With any craft is like that only. Acting also is like that. You don't have to think. Do you think when you're driving now? Initially you were ना.
Yeah. True.
हाँ second gear third पे लाना हो गया. But वो
हाँ. बिल्कुल से.
practice.
Practice. Repetition and consistency. Yes.
Do you have any tricks to get into character? Jैसे Shahrukh Khan, he mentioned in an interview that he tries to create a different walk for each character.
Yeah.
Vidya Balan uses like different perfumes for each character. Or let's say some people use music. This particular song is for that character. Do you have any tricks like this?
Not really that I can think of, but sometimes I do modulate the pitch, the voice modulation. Not all the time where I feel it's necessary. Actually, a lot of my process has become very uncluttered. Like पहले ना मैं बहुत से complicate करता था. I used to try too hard to sort of come up with these kick-ass ideas. So it's very streamlined and simplified. And if I have like one or two really good ideas, and I just focus on just developing that. And many times your writers will also like, I don't need to change the rhythm or the way I speak because the dialogue writer or the writer would have written it a certain way. So I want to see first how that sounds. And if that's not working, if I feel I have to go over and beyond, most of the times you don't have to go over and beyond. थोड़ा pitch modulation होता है, लेकिन मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता. People think that both the characters have a different voice. They don't. They speak with the same voice, which is a slightly flatter voice. So थोड़ा bass cut off करता था मैं, थोड़ा flat रखता था. To sound not remarkable, like कि कहीं से भी remarkable लाते हैं. Bass voice is usually कि क्या voice है ना. So you cut out the bass a little bit. So it's not really a trick, but I felt that at that point of time for that thing I would do. I know some characters, some people like, I know Richa Chadda and Vijay, they have like this scent thing and all that. I used to do playlists before, but I have stopped doing that. I became too dependent on that. So then I'd rather use that as an occasional stimulant and then still stay with my imagination.
Very nice.
And also let other things affect you, like your co-actor, your surroundings, the object. Sometimes you go sit on a chair and then you're like, your behavior is completely changed because the chair is hard, soft or something like that. That influences something.
और फिर आप और कॉन्शियस हो जाते हो कि मतलब अगर कभी-कभी you can get out of character because यार shit मैंने तो ऐसा imagine ही नहीं किया था. मेरे को याद है वो पंकज त्रिपाठी का Gangs of Wasseypur 2 का जो first scene था ना, where like वो attack करने जाते हैं घर पे. तो he said like in one of the interviews कि उनको था कि यार ये बंदा यहाँ पहले भी आता होगा. So वो walk करने जाते हैं. Like he does this whole walk before they start rolling the camera. 10 मिनट बस एरिया में walk करो. अब रोल करो. वो बहुत सही लगी.
I know, nice. And Pankaj Tripathi said also once कि I'm always acting and it's so right. I know about that. Sometimes I'm just hanging clothes on a rack and I'm cleaning the litter box. I imagine a camera capturing it.
Wow.
Or an audience watching it, and it's a performance. Like I feel like even with like, and sometimes I'm like I really like just take time with the thing, and sometimes I try and do it fast or something. Like even if it's the most mundane, I'm just saying most mundane, boring things. I just think of it as a performance. That's what he meant. I totally, when he said that, I was like, I know what you're saying all the time. I'm cooking something and I'm making something. In my head, it's like I'm doing a recipe show. I'm just telling people how to do the recipe. I'll crack a joke or something like that.
Do you have an inner monologue? Like,
yeah, a lot. Talk to myself.
What's the tone of that?
It's the same voice.
Like it's you.
Yeah, it's me conversing with myself. Yeah, it's me conversing with myself. Sometimes an alter ego, which is Super Gulu.
Which is?
Super Gulu. That's my alter ego. Like when I really need to, I have to bring Super Gulu out to bail me out of my own mind. I grew up alone also, an only child. So I'm very used to sort of being by myself and having those inner monologues. तो इतना मुश्किल नहीं है मेरे लिए to look inwards. In fact, sometimes I look too much to the inwards. I become very analytical about things, and my friends have to say that, just थोड़ा सा emotion भी दिखा गुरु. But politics के बारे में तो emotionless. Just pay attention to electoral politics. आपको सब गेम समझ आएगा.
पूरा गेम समझ आएगा. एक पॉलिटिक्स में गेम है शासन. आपने सुना इसके बारे में?
नहीं सुना.
You should play it. Like शासन में एक गेम है जिसमें आपको एक इलेक्शन जीतना होता है.
अच्छा.
हमने अभी खरीदा ये बोर्ड. हम सब
नहीं होगा ना मुझसे. मैं तो जीत ही नहीं सकता इलेक्शन.
उसमें आइडियोलॉजी कार्ड्स होते हैं.
वही तो ना. I can't. But that's the thing when then you become dispassionate. And I think politics is also like where you have to have the right balance of the passion and dispassion also. Only then I think something really good will happen. And there are a lot of people like that who I think have. I'm assuming, I don't know if anybody. Generally, I have a lot of. I don't like politicians. I don't think much of them unless they prove otherwise. Unless, like I know, like a lot of politicians don't think much of actors unless they prove otherwise. So it's the same. मेरी तरफ से भी.
मैंने अभी विनायक हिंडोल को बताया था आई वॉज इरुवर. अब जाके मैंने इरुवर देखी थी तो उसमें ये वाला एक्टर पॉलिटिक्स वाला पूरा वो एंगल है ना. एंड आप यूएस पॉलिटिक्स भी इतना क्लोजली करते हो क्या फॉलो जो यूएस में?
लिटिल बिट. वो तो सुना ही देता. आजकल तो आपको ट्राई नहीं करना पड़ता है. कुछ ना कुछ तो ऐसे आ ही जाएगा उसके बाद.
और बट क्या जो बाइडेन के वीडियोस आते हैं जहाँ पे वो बोल ही नहीं पा रहे हो याद है? अब ऐसे लाइक ही इज
ओल्ड एंड ही इज लाइक ही हैज.
आई कांट टेल इफ दे आर रियल और नॉट. लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ देम. Yeah.
I can't tell if it's real or not also. I can't.
Very scary कि ये deepfake है, ये deepfake नहीं है, ये real है, ये real नहीं है.
Yeah. But I think little bit that power is shifting. Like the US used to be a very center of power. It's not fully shifted, but it's showing some indication of it shifting a little bit. Which may be a good thing in some, maybe a bad. But who will come in their place is.
Yeah. Are you also following what's happening in the AI sector? Yeah, do you use
a little bit? I used it once and it got my bio fully wrong. Like it just really, it credited me for Trapped, which I would have loved to be credited for it, but it's Rajkumar's film. कुछ भी बकवास किया था, so मैंने उसका screenshot लेके post किया था, but it's getting. I sometimes half jokingly tell my colleagues कि एक 10 साल ही बचे हैं, एंजॉय कर लो पूरा प्रोसेस. उसके बाद ना हमारी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. 10 साल में ना एंजॉय कर लो. इसीलिए ना स्टॉप वाइनिंग अबाउट इट. एंजॉय एवरी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रहा है ना उसका कर लो. बिकॉज
देयर इज सम सत्य इन इट. लाइक
वेरी सून दैट टेक्नोलॉजी विल बी सो मतलब AI टेक्नोलॉजी विल बी सो एडवांस दैट पीपल वोंट नीड देम. एंड वी थिंक दैट oh no people will still want to connect with people. Maybe it's true. But they're very happy watching a film that's meant to be experienced in a big screen on a small mobile and still be entertained. So if that is a reality, then they'll look at an AI character and then for all you know that the कल का superstar is 20 साल बाद एक superstar कोई algorithm created होगा.
Yeah. मेरे को ऐसा लग सकता है फ्यूचर में ऐसा होगा कि लोग आपको ऐसा कहेंगे कि यार हमें अपने वीडियो और ऑडियो राइट्स दे दो कि कैन वी यूज गुलशन का वॉइस यार. मतलब शब्द भी नहीं
वो भी हो जाएगा ना. हाँ. Unless my copyright, then what people will start na, because all of these the AI learns from you na. Yeah. So then you copyright everything about yourself. So then what they'll do, then oh this is based on me, so you have to pay me. हाँ. वो एक धंधा स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. हाँ. म्यूजिक इंडस्ट्री में वैसे भी है थोड़ा. So one riff is like similar like कुछ 25 साल पहले वाला सॉन्ग सडनली क्या वो एड शीरन का गाना इतना पॉपुलर हो रहा है. चल सू देम. हाँ. उसके ऊपर ही सबसे ज़्यादा केसेस है. आई डोंट नो बट आई एम टेलिंग माई सेल्फ जस्ट हैव फन एंजॉय.
थोड़ा ही
कल का क्या पता है यार क्या होगा. एज अनुपम जी सेज ना कुछ भी हो सकता है.
बट ऑन दैट नोट गुलशन मजा आया. बहुत तगड़ी
कन्वर्सेशन.
बट जाने से पहले आप देख रहे हो चलचित्र देखते हो?
I watched most of your videos and Instagram posts and all those things. I do watch. I've been there right from the, I won't say beginning, but from a long time.
Long time. Yeah.
T-shirt भी है मेरे पास.
बढ़िया. Thank you so much and this was
pleasure.
So much fun.
Pleasure. चलो खाना खाओ.
Bye guys.
टाटा.
चलो cut.